Hello, everybody. How you all doing? Been a while since the last stream, but I am back. It's been a busy 2 weeks since I've been gone, so I'm happy to finally be back to a little bit of normalcy, you know. You like my shirt? Thank you. Got it in Worlds in Paris. You so ready to hear my rants today? I don't know if I'm going to rant the same way other people are. The format hasn't been terrible, but my retiring, I'm not going to retire. If I watched the Josh video, I have not. I didn't even realize he posted a video, and I saw it, 91,000 views. I'm like, as another YouTuber, I'm like, holy fuck, this video blew up. I'm very curious what it says. No Josh levels retired. No, I'm raring to duel. I'm excited. I'm going to Brazil this weekend, guys, for another YCS. So I need to shave. Fuck. Oh, I got back at 4 in the morning. This morning, I guess, because my flight got fucking delayed like several hours. So ass. I don't know where to begin. I don't know what part of Brazil. I'm going to Sao Paulo in the YCS. We're gonna discuss your time in Anaheim. I will be discussing Anaheim. I'm going to be discussing the Duelist Cup because that was last weekend. I'll be discussing. I'm discussing all current events Yu-Gi-Oh wise that you guys want to talk about. I'm down to talk about. And our next, think of 100 bits. An old witch forbids your future, set a crystal ball, and you would fall in a dimensional fissure where Protus would throw a Mjolnir at your face. Well, maybe you should have thought about that when you decided to approach a witch. Am I getting the final Infinity Stone this time? I'm a damn try, you know? Hey, what do you think of the new Brandy Quick Play spot we're getting? It looks really sick.
I thought the Jesse was cooked.
Roar him a dinosaur. I know that's not the name, but I'm still gonna say it. Thank you so much for the sub. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is I haven't explained the rules yet, but if you read it in chat, there is a brand new pack in Master Duel, a reprint pack, and the Mitsurugi pack is coming out tomorrow. So what we're doing is with that new pack, we're preparing Noel. You guys love these streams, so I want to keep doing them, but they are expensive for me, so I thought of a way we can engage in it together. I'm still going to a lot of this year, don't get me wrong, but with this new pack, over the course of today's stream and the whaling stream, which I should do tomorrow as long as the credit card doesn't shit itself, if you sub, we're gonna add 10 packs to this pack count here. This is the number of packs I'll be opening. The most I've ever done is like 150,000 or 150,000 gems, so 1,500 packs. And then for every 5 what's it called? Every 5 subs, I'm gonna add another 10 packs to the counter. So the idea here is we can get a ton of packs opened, and we can have some festivities. It's fine. It makes you feel special. Exactly. It makes you memorable, you know?
I thought the Jesse was cooked.
And our next, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Appreciate you. You know, I feel bad. I haven't streamed that much lately. And what that means is I've really not gotten that much subs either. I want to get the number up, so I want to stream more. I want to get you guys more involved, and hopefully we can have some fun in the process. Yeah. So far we're at 170 packs, which is already 17,000 gems, by the way. But I'm trying to do cool stuff. You know, 17,000 packs or 17,000 gems. That's nothing. For a normal set, we open 25,000. So only a couple more subs, and we'll be past our normal threshold into the cool realm. Pull some of the royal rares from Mitsurugi and some of the reprint royals, which we'll look at that pack in a second. How are you guys all doing? You know, I've told you a bit how my last 2 weeks have gone. It's been a bit for me. How have y'all been? How do you guys enjoy the Duelist Cup, the YCS, watching the YCS? How's it been? I want, because obviously I have my own perspectives, but I want to see.
I thought that
I want to see how
cooked.
you guys are, because that gets me grounded and in touch with the community. Just fine, you're tired. Oh fuck yeah!
I thought that Jesse was
I was
cooked.
fucked last week. Last week I wanted to stream after Duel's Cup, but I was so tired I could not. It was rough, and I'll talk about that when I get more in depth. DC Richard, thank you so much for the 5 subs. So that is another 60 packs to the counter.
I thought that Jesse was cooked.
We are already at 23,000 gems to spend. The finals felt sad. I didn't watch it. I was pretty busy with other stuff. Midtown Mashal, it comes out tomorrow or tonight at like 11:30 p.m. or some shit. So, yeah. Watching the White Sisters was awful. Felt like you were watching Solitaire. Were the matches really that bad? Obviously, I didn't watch the event, so I don't know what it was like. It was that bad? Damn, that sucks. The European tournaments have also been like that when I've streamed, to be honest. They've been mostly bad. Neshalo! Oh, I fucking love Nesh. Thank you for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. And now that I'm back, hopefully, I'm not really back. I go to Brazil in 2 days, but we'll record together some content soon. Watch Josh's video on it. I do plan on doing that. Yeah. It was terrible.
I thought that Jesse was cooked.
Just a prank. Thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate you. 10 more packs to the counter. All right. Okay. Does perception of the event does not equal play rate of the event? What do you mean? Finals with totals of 3 turns. Okay.
I thought that Jesse
that doesn't sound good. Tornado, thanks for the sub. All right, we're at 250 packs now. Okay, this is pretty much the amount of packs I open for a normal pack opening. So if we're gonna whale, I want to go higher. 2 more packs is the next threshold for the bonus pack. What did I play? I played Dracotel. I'll show the deck list off in a second. Will I play Legacy? Do you mean Genesis? Yeah. Not immediately, but I will play it. I'm gonna play with Sam next week probably. I haven't had a chance to actually play games yet, but I've brewed a couple decks. I have like 4 or 5 ideas. All the Genesis matches they were showing looked way more fun. Well, so for what it's worth, there are a couple reasons for that. Obviously, Genesis, they have more control over the ban list, and that is better. But also, when there's a less developed meta, and there's more kind of random shit going on, it's less solved. That usually means it's more fun for a viewer. But when stuff gets more solved, and it gets linear and kind of answered, it becomes a lot easier to have a best deck, and the viewer experience also gets worse as a result. So here's the thing, right? Like, if Genesis gets solved and there's only 1 best deck or 2 best decks, then we could see the same type of thing happen. However, this is where the monthly balance help, and they could really try to check that if it ever comes to problem. But yeah, I started to play Mitsu other than Pure and Ryziel. I want to try it in tier, but Fiendsmith is also a good one. Orcus is also good. It's so good with a lot of things. Just explore. That's what I recommend. We'll be trying a lot tomorrow, or not, or whenever I get a chance, I guess. Let's make your community meta. On the to-do list, but I have a lot. Mitsu tier is broken. I don't know about broken. I'm excited to try stuff. I love all the tier brews you can do in Master Duel because you can't do them in TCG. Magistus Mitsu sounds better. Well, we can try that as well. I haven't looked at the OCG reports yet. I know they got Mitsurugi like maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I don't know how it's impacted their metagame. So I'm curious to see what kind of happens with that. Stay learned about Mitsu tier. I'm not Josh. That's a Josh title. And whenever I make a title like that, it's just purely satirical for Josh. New card review. What new cards were announced? Jide was cooking with Magistus Fiends and Mitsu Gem Knight, so that sounds like a pile and a half. Mitsu Runic. Okay. You guys do know that I'm not Josh, right? I just want to be clear. Terrorism pile? Yes, I am the terrorist. I am terrorist Josh. Okay, we can probably look at the new cards. Mitsu Paleo. God. Ooh, I just realized I forgot to get a water before starting the stream. I may have to go grab one at some point because I'm gonna be talking my ass off for the next few hours. Someone clip that. Okay. Hype chest. All right, what did the hype chest get? All right, terrible emote. Great. Josh, you look different today. I do. I get called Josh way too often, to be honest. It's kind of alarming. Mitsurugi, Fairy Tail, Snow Turbo. So how do you search? Did you just make curious? Because Mitsurugi with Snow sounds awesome. That sounds like my type of shit, you know? God, I have a problem. Someone said, how is Jesse living in the shadow of Josh while being the better player? I don't want to get into comparisons because you can get kind of it can get kind of mean-spirited if people do that shit. So there's no reasons to do that. Bald spot? I have a bald spot? I mean, the hair is being pulled by the fucking this. My hair is definitely thinner on top than it has been in the past, but it's not bad. There's like definitely bald patches because of my cystic acne. To be fair, Chev's asking about every round of the Y-Cyst, so he gets it a lot too. Oh yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. Jesse Baldark. Dude, bald Jesse would suck because like obviously you guys see the cysts on my face. Those aren't just on my face, they're on my everywhere. So I just have red lumps all over my head. It kind of sucks. So I'd probably get a wig. I'm not gonna lie. What causes them? I have a skin condition called some Latin name, hidradenitis suppurativa. I want to say it's pronounced. Everywhere you say? Unfortunately, yeah, almost everywhere. It'll be a Goku wig. So I get a wig for like the Pharaoh, right? Guys, you don't need to think about my genitalia. That's weird. I don't know why this got weird. The red spots make it play Yu-Gi-Oh! That's where I store my skill. No, it can be rough, to be honest. But as far as like problems go, I could be cursed with a way worse illness, so I'll put up with it for now. I mean, I don't really have a choice. I'll put up with it. What am I supposed to fucking do? I'm on medication for it as is. The moment everywhere came to the conversation, it got weird. Bro, I just said a word. Is it a chronic condition you can't cure? Yeah, it's chronic. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about it. There's an experimental medication that I'm doing right now. It's been doing some stuff to stop it from spreading, but existing stuff is still there. I mean, I like being open with everything. You guys can look it up, and I never think it's a bad thing to gain information and gain knowledge. So if anybody's curious, you can look. Any hope for Radiant Typhoon and Genesis? That is what Jeff Jones played. He did win his pod in the Invitational, and then I think he lost in top 32, so round 2 of the main event. Seems solid though. I think it has a hard time versus decks that are heavy engine and combo decks, like Dragon Ruler is a hard one, and he lost to that. Illness aside, I'm a king. YouTube algorithm bought a video of yours to me, and you go back and Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm happy to hear that. Now listen, it's not. I could have way worse problems in my life, so I try not to dwell on the negative. How excited are we for the Mitsu release tomorrow? I have not played Mitsurugi since Habakiri came out, so my only experiences with the deck were with Ame and Ritual and the old Rizal deck from like February. So I'm excited to play it in this new context because it's a different deck. It's pretty different, and yeah, I mean I haven't really played it before, so it'll be cool. Thoughts on Shifter? Fuck Shifter! That's crazy.
I hate this card. This is the worst fucking Ojama.
That was not planned. That is really hilarious. But yeah, fuck Shifter. Yeah, so I'll cover that. Okay, I guess where do I begin? Because I imagine now we've caught up a little bit, we can get into talking about the events. I guess real quick, I'll say this one more time. Oh, it was Cam who sent that? Oh my god, that's crazy. Congrats on your second, Cam. Anyways, so yes, there's a new reprint pack in Master Duel as well as Men's Rookie Pack tomorrow. So if you want to support the whaling stream, you can do so now. And for every sub that you guys sub with, 10 packs get added to the pool, as well as for every 5 subs, an additional 10 packs go. So right now we're at 250 packs, 25,000 gems. The record I've done is 150,000 gems, so 1,500 packs. I'd love to hit that amount, but I'm curious what you guys can do. And obviously, this is partially to line and load for me. I'll be honest. It's obviously expensive for me to keep doing whaling streams, so I know you guys love them. And this helps me do it a little more, because obviously this is still, I'm spending way more money than I'm making, but it makes it a little bit easier for me. I tried to find a method that was as fair as I could think of, but we'll see how it does, and hopefully it'll be good. You make casual content, apparently. I do. That's not wrong. My last video was a Gate Guardian deck. I definitely make casual content. Can we donate negative packs? Why would you want to do that? You cannot donate negative packs. If you go bold to be better at Yu-Gi-Oh, what's the hypothesis there? What's the rationale? Is it like, I don't know what I mean. I could make some snide comments about my friends, but I'm not gonna do that. Can I gift on Wednesday and so add to the queue? Or just today? It's tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow will count. Yeah, tomorrow's good too. How many subs to go bald? I don't know why you'd want me to see me bald. I don't really care, so I don't know. But at the same time, I don't want to go bald either. Okay. We have a couple options. We can go over my Anaheim experience. We can go over the Duelist Cup. We can look at new cards. Or we can do look at Master Duel, or we can look at the Josh video. I think those last two we'll save for the end. But out of those earlier
I thought
ones,
that Jesse was cooked.
what are we feeling? Duelist Cup. Yeah, did I say DC or Duelist Cup? L Mills, thank you for the 2 subs.
Cooked.
Appreciate you. All the above. Yes, it'll be all the above. Which one first? Thank you. That helpful conversation. All right, the next sub will get a bonus 10 packs, by the way. Would you go ball Jake for our viewers? Anaheim, Master Duel. I'll make a poll. I don't know why I'm even asking chat, because I have a hard time telling from just chat. I just spammed buttons. What did I say? Look at new cards. Talk about Duelist Cup. Oh my god, caps locked. Dude, I'm so bad at typing. Do I allow additional votes? No, not this time. Okay. Will I react to the cheaters? What? What are you talking about? The DK video. I don't even know what that's talking about. Did I miss more drama? There was a ton of cheating at Lil. How so? Don't do it. It's a compilation of illegal plays. Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
I thought that Pack,
thank you for the subs. I don't know if Pack realizes this, but for every sub we're opening more packs tomorrow. So now we're at 290 packs. Ooh. You call every misplay a cheater and it's bad. Oh, DK'd? Yeah, I don't know how I want to engage in that, to be honest. I may skip out on that piece of drama.
I thought that Jesse was cooked.
He didn't say that. I don't know. If people are divided on it, people don't really want it. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Max, thanks so much for the sub. Appreciate you. All right, we're at 300 packs now. I think I added one too soon. That's fine. Now we're here. We combine creation, yeah. 300 packs for the Mitsu pack tomorrow. Well, there's also a new reprint pack. I guess I'll go over that real quick. I'll take 5 seconds. Oh, Steam's not open. One moment.
Fucking green! I hate this card. This is the worst fucking Ojama. Negate!
I don't really want to watch a compilation of illegal plays though either. That sounds terrible. Like, I don't care if he's not actually calling people cheaters. But I don't want to watch a compilation of that either. Like, that's not what's the enjoyment in that. The main thing's on Tuesday. It'll be tonight, right? Yeah. He's literally calling them cheaters. Dude, I don't. Yeah. Yo, this eFootball campaign is tilting the fuck out of me. Why are you not guaranteed the Royal Rescue Rabbit? It comes in a fucking pack, and you only get 4 packs. So I might just not even pull it. It's guaranteed. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because if I don't get it, I'm gonna be fucking sick. Two packs will be in the event. Oh, in the Dice Rally event? Alright, as long as it's guaranteed, that's fine. I was just crashing out yesterday when I opened this up at the airport and I saw this, and I'm like, ain't no fucking way they did this. Yeah, there's another Dice Rally. I love Dice Rally. I'm good. Okay, as long as this is guaranteed, I'm gonna stop crashing out. I guess I get the next one in 2 minutes, so we'll do that in a second. This is a cool promotion though. I downloaded the game on my phone, but I forgot to show it to them at the event, so I didn't get my promo. I guess I'll show it to them in Brazil, which is more fitting, right? For Neymar. He's Brazilian, right? I'm not a big soccer guy or football. I've been to a Chelsea game, but that's about it. And I watched the World Cup, actually, one of the events, with my boys. I'm mostly like he's Brazilian. Okay, I'm a go with the flow type of guy. If my friends all want to do something and they're all hyped about it, I'm there with them. I'm hyped. So I remember Weiss's Costa Rica 2023. It was the World Cup was happening, and we like sat in the pool watching like Canada play. That was fun, and I enjoy that. That's cool. But yeah, I wouldn't call myself a huge football fan, although I'm always open to do stuff. The Duel Insertion event is really cool. The shit with the duel puzzle, and you have to do the most damage possible to indestructible zero tech token. That is cool. World Cup is 2022. Am I mixing up the years? Oh, I am. Yeah. It was. Holy shit! Tier was 3 years ago. That was the Tier YCS, right? Yeah, that was 2022. You're right, because it was with Tier. Oh my god, I'm so fucking old. No, it was 2022. It was 2022. It was November 2022. It was the YCS that I won. I remember that. And then I remembered in Costa Rica, like going to the restaurants and the games we were playing. I remember getting Caballo con Huevo or something. Or no, Caballo de Huevo. No, Huevo de Caballo. It's something like that. I don't know the exact name of the dish, but I remember reading it in my shitty ass Spanish and thinking this meant, why does this say horse egg? And that's apparently just the dish in Costa Rica. And it's not horse or egg. Or I guess there was an egg, but it wasn't a horse egg. I vividly remember that and being confused the fuck out of what it meant. And we were watching the football game. And then I ordered it because why not? Horse balls? No. It was just a steak with an egg on top. But horse testicles is a good thought. That's a good inference. There was in Chile there was a steak cut that was like goose's ass. I'm like, what? Huevo de Caballo? It might have been that, yeah. No, it wasn't Huevos Rancheros. But the Goose's ass one as well. I was like, huh. Rush Grabber looks cute. It is cute. And he like does all these dances. The jiggles. I'm sure this is a famous dance or whatever from football, but I have no idea what it is. Looking super round here. It is cute. Anyways, what I wanted to show you guys is there's this reprint pack here. So I'm not gonna open it today. We're gonna do it tomorrow with the Mitsurugi pack. But this is the pack I want to open. The only ones I already have Royal is I have one Talents. I think that's it. I have one Royal Ultart Bell. And then I have Supers, but that's whatever. So I'm going to try get Royals of these cards. I want the Charmies and Thrust probably the most. Ash would be cool too. And Talents. It's probably these four the most. And I also kind of want this. But yeah, it could be cool. Staples Wailing. Exactly. And you want to support the Wailing. Sub. And we'll go whale together, right? You should only give you one copy of the Football Rescue Rabbit card because Dylan's give you 3 copies and that triggers you. Oh, I have no idea. Ulti Slayer ults first killing. It's not ultimate though. This is regular art. Royal Sticky Kaiju. Why do you want a Royal Sticky Kaiju? All the animations are cool. Yeah, alright. Here's our pack. Alright, let's pull the rabbit hopefully. Alright, one pack. Give me the rabbit. Give me the rabbit. Give me the rabbit. Rabbit. No, it's the worst one. Then it has to be the worst one. 10 legacy packs. Fucking useless. I'm gonna open them now.
Fucking green! I hate this card. This is the worst fucking Ojama.
Wow! A one-eyed skill gainer. That has 2 eyes. That's probably a dead eye. I don't know. Hey, Ray. Lizard. Lizard. Have you looked at the new field? What new field? Something here? Oh, what is this? That's hilarious. This is a soccer pitch? 10 Birth of the Challenger packs. That is cool. I'll get this tomorrow. What's this? Oh. Yeah, well, we'll do this tomorrow. Yeah, this is kind of cool. Yeah, I'm down. We'll do this tomorrow. Move it? Why? Where's the crowd though? Why is it an empty stadium? Was it Sue? Is that's what the sound is, or that he does? That's Ronaldo, right? You can tell I've never watched them play. His ass. I don't want to bring up all the what's it called, beef, the soccer beef, football beef, whatever you want to call it. Okay, let's switch over to a discussion about the YCS. It's the fake Ronaldo. Yeah. Okay. So, this YCS. So obviously my main preparation for Yu-Gi-Oh! As of late has been in Master Duel. And we'll talk about that with the Duelist Cup in mind after this. So going into the tournament, I was not overly prepared. Huge thanks to a lot of my friends who let me talk to them to try to get an idea of where the format was at. So I could kind of go about building my deck. And I'll run through my choices in a minute. But yeah, so pretty much by the time YCS Anaheim came around, I was kind of looking for more of a vacation than anything else. So yeah, I wasn't like overly expecting to do well this event. That's why I wasn't posting updates either. Nor did I really care that much because I was just really tired. The Duelist Cup was fucking brutal. And on top of having to do other work, I was kind of just left kind of beaten up by the end of last Sunday. So yeah, expectations weren't crazy high, and I'm sorry for not posting updates. I know I probably should be posting updates either way. I just don't want to be the guy who posts updates and then I go like 1-3, and then like it just looks pathetic. And with how I played like no games at all before the tournament, I wouldn't have been that surprised if that happened. So I went into the tournament with a lot of intuition and theory and advice from friends, and I was really hoping that there was going to be enough. But if it wasn't a big deal. How did the tournament go for me? So obviously I still get 2 buys anywhere in the Americas regions, so North and South America. I am now the only person to get those permanently, or not permanently, for the next few years. Julian Kahan gets them too, for being the world champion for this year only, as well as VIP qualifiers are still held for other people to get the same perk, but all the other UDS champions have lost their perks and they are now plebeians. But I still have 2 buys until 2029. So yeah, 2-0 starts still, obviously without doing anything. Round 3, I played against a Mitsu Rizel opponent. I lost the roll. I was able to win 2-0. That matchup felt pretty good. It was a game that went to like a bit of a grind both times. My opponent made some mistakes, but because of that, I was able to capitalize on it. It wasn't one of those game states where you make a mistake and you don't get punished, you still FTK. Like, I was able to actually capitalize on mistakes and win. So, yeah, that was sick. I was able to start off 1-0. The next round I'm playing against Lunalight. So as you can see, I do have a plan for Lunalight here. What it is to branded fusion for Titanic Clad, sending Lava Golem, and then add it back with Arthalion, and then voila. Game 1, I win the roll, and I'm able to win the game after like 25 minutes. Regrettably, I know like a vague idea what all the cards do, but I don't know them well enough because, again, I've not been as active as I'd like. So that's partially on me. Both of us probably could have played faster. Game 2, I open up with Fualos. And I get to Fua draw like 5 cards. There are no other hand traps the entire time. Or draw Nib like at the end, and it doesn't matter. He ends on Liger Pass. So I open up Branded Fusion. I bait out the Hound first in Grave, and then Branded Fusion, then Lion. And then, yeah, that gets me into Lava Golem. Lava Golem is a guy, and so yeah, I baited out with I forced out with Philia Regis. So I have to use a lot of my resources to make Philia Regis, banish the Hound, and then Lava Golem the Liger. So I'm like, okay, I'm in a fine spot now, but because I use so many resources to accomplish that, I'm not able to kill. And then I pass entering a grind game. And my field wasn't strong enough, to be honest, so he gets another Liger up, and he only puts 1 monster in the field, so I can't just line back Lava Golem. And at this point, the game is like running low on time. There's like 8 minutes left, and arguably I should concede here. That way I don't just lose in time. I need them to Lava Golem, Branded Fusion for Titanic Clad. So what I do, but I decided, I have a way to still play here. So what I do is, next turn I go Lion, and then I add back Albaz, Frixel, and Lava Golem. And my game plan is, during his main phase 2 next turn, I'm going to Phimena, fuse away the Frixel and the Albaz to make Sanctifier, then Sanctifier give him a monster. That way I can Lava Golem and I'll win. However, I need to make sure I live the turn. And I'm at like 3,000 life points at this point in time. So my plan is when he goes Liger effects, I'm going to use Lion and Pan in the grave to put up 2 bodies. That way he can't kill me. Or hopefully he can't kill me. However, I forgot to trigger Pan. Because I thought this through, but I forgot to trigger the Pan and I died. So I end up in this spot where now I'm dead, and there's like less than 2 minutes on the clock, and I'm up game 1 and I'm losing game 2, and it's just like, all right, that's rough. We finish siding with 30 seconds on the clock. I go first. I make my field in 10 seconds because it's Drake Tail. Pass. He draws his 5 seconds. Obviously, it's just like a double loss. So that's a bit of a shame. Maybe I'm supposed to concede earlier. I also feel like if I don't make that mistake there, though, I should be fine. I take full responsibility for that loss. That one is rough. So the double loss there versus Lunalight. It put me to a 3-1 start. Then next round I played against Vanquish Soul. And this is the one where you see me rant on Twitter. My opponent from that ended up placing like 12th or something. What the fuck is this? And they also retweeted my my post. I think they were a little, like, they felt bad about what happened. I want to make it clear, my disdain for Shifter does not like spread to the person who played the card. They're just playing cards that exist in Yu-Gi-Oh. It's not their fault. But yeah, I got Shifter twice. I literally just lost 2 games to Shifter in like 5 minutes, and it was very depressing because both games my hand were like solid, whereas like Rahu, like Branded Fusion, and I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna be in a fine spot. I can play through it. It's Vanquish Soul, but it was just Holly Sue and a Shifter, and I just got fucking murdered. So I got absolutely whopped in round 5. It's 5? Yeah, 5. And yeah, look, I googled Jesse Cotton Shifter and that showed up. The Light Kaiju into the Lava Golem. I'll go into the deck theory in a bit. The Shifter's my favorite cards. Based on how much I signed Shifters at a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, you'd think that would be true. I actually signed so many Shifters. Actually crazy. So anyways, yeah, I started off 3-2, which is not good for very obvious reasons, especially because with 2 buys, that essentially meant I'd start off 1-2, which is kind of what I didn't want to like happen. And it happened in such a Shifter-ish manner that I was not in a good mood because I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna have fun playing Yu-Gi-Oh this weekend, and it'll be a good experience. I'm gonna chill. This was not chill. This was rage-inducing, stare into your soul. I'm gonna kill everybody. Like, yeah, I was having fun. Thankfully, though, ended up not being too crazy after that. After those rounds, so the rest of the day 1, I did win all the 4 remaining matches. I won versus a yummy opponent, 2 Odeon players. What was the last one? Was it? No, it was I don't remember. There was one other one as well. Might have been, I don't remember. Might have been another Mitsurugi player. But I end off day 1 7-2. There really wasn't too much notable about these matches. They honestly were not bad matches. I got to play in pretty much all the games. The only ones that really sucked were Barrier. I was able to play around most other stuff other times. There were 2 occasions throughout the tournament where I drew Super Poly versus Yummy, and I'm like, okay, I get to play, get the Arclight off the field, and I win. And then I get barriered in draw phase, and it's like, great, I still lose. Because even though you can chain Poly, right, you still just lose their follow-up. And I can't do anything afterwards. So, yeah, barrier obviously did suck. So that did, ended up X2. Breaker's not the best, so it's hard to know, even if I won all 5 rounds on day 2, how it would have been. Anyways, yeah, so on to round 10, I play against the Draco Tail Mirror. That was fun. The Draco Tail Mirror is pretty cool. I won the roll, went first, then I won game 1, and then he made me go first game 2, and I was able to win that as well. I did feel like that match is pretty good for whoever like kind of navigates the resources better is in a good position, and I felt like I did a good job there. So I was very happy with that match. Then round 11, I played against Sulfa Cord Yummy. So this was a deck that I think Paulo and some other Brazilians worked on. So game 1, I win the roll. I win a brand infusion, so I make a pretty strong field. And his hand is like 6 high quality extenders, but people like underestimate Katrikatel's fields. I'm able to like stop it pretty easily, especially because I play all 3 traps. So I'm able to win game 1. Game 2, I draw Super Poly, Nibiru, Phimena, Rahu, Brand Infusion. It's happened a lot where I just drew Phimena with no monsters, which was kind of annoying. Oh my god, his hand's good. He makes this huge field, including like the Sulfur Cord Link 3, which is Omni Negate. So his Arclight, the Omni Negate, the Pen Scales, another monster negate, and then the standard yummy shit. Then he sets 2 unknowns and passes. So I'm like, okay, I have Super Poly here. I hit the Arclight and then Link 3, which turns off 3 negates and the Floodgate. Then Branded Fusion or my... Oh, it was Key 2, not Rahu. My Key 2 solos. I draw Droll for 6, which is obviously tilting, but whatever. And, oh, the other deck that I played on day 1 was K9 Christian. I played Charlie Futch. How did I forget that? I'll go back to that in a second. But yeah, so I debated here. I have the option of going like activate fusion spell, chain Super Poly, and then I beat barrier. But if my opponent plays around Super Poly and uses one of the negates on the fusion, then it hurts me a lot as well. So I decide that I'm not going to play around barrier because he also just draw his barrier if that's what he wants to do anyways. And I decide to just go Poly. So I clear the Omni Negates, and then I activate my fusion spell, and I get debarriered. Like, all right, that is. Yep. And I lose game 1 or game 2. Then game 3, I get Fuwood and then double impermed. So my end field is not as great as I would have liked, but end with a Malulu in play, Sanctifier in play, and only Horn face down, the monster bounce. I clear the fields, and I have a nib in hand. Clear the fields by going Sanctifier, Revive Albaz, and Pan, and then Albaz fuse away with the Pan for Chaos, then Pan and Chaos trigger to clear the fields. And then it gets to a point where my opponent has 1 unknown in hand, and they have the Sulfur Cord Pendulum that tributes itself to summon a guy from extra deck. And I know that the Link 3 Sulfur Cord is a Omni Negate if it summons a scale to a zone of points do. However, what I don't know is what the arrows of the Link 3 are. And I'm not sure exactly if you're allowed to ask on Neuron to look up a card, because I think the ruling has changed. But yeah, so I was kind of not sure what I am supposed to do there. So pretty much there's a Link Rebo and the guy pointing to it. So if the Link 3 does not have the right arrows, then you can look it up. They keep changing it. All right, well then if I could have, then I should have. That's my fault then. But either way, me not knowing is still my fault. Because what I was going to do is go Nibiru, chain Malulu to fuse. Because what it lets me do is it lets me stop the Nib token from happening, which converts into Link Spider form. Unfortunately, Nibiru is the only card I have in my hand, so I can't fuse away something else and then hold the Nibiru as a secret for later. But if the Link 3 is an Omni Negate, then I have to stop the monster that summons the Link 3 now. So what I do is I decide I'm just gonna assume it is an Omni Negate. I go Malulu, fuse away the Nib, make the Arthur Lion to add back to them so he knows he has it. And then the Malulu negates the guy that specials from extra deck. Then he has 2 in hand. One of them I know is an extender, and then 1 unknown. He summons the extender that I know is there. He knows I have nib. I'm like, all right, well now I nib, and I have to hope the last card in his hand is not an extender. And it was. So unfortunately, I do lose that game. I definitely feel like I could have played better, and that is partially just me not knowing everything. So yeah, I do lose round 11 there. And it's weird, right? Because now with the new rules, you play out the last 3 rounds of Swiss either way. That would have been the final round of Swiss in the old rules there. But it's a weird feeling because you're playing the tournament still, and I still have a very real reason to play those last 3 rounds. But I also am no longer in contention to win the tournament. Obviously, I'm still playing for top 32 or 16 because you get worlds points, which matter a lot, as well as the prize Valor and Card Trooper, the sleeves, the packs, or the mat, all can be worth money as well. So I decided to play out the last 3 rounds, and I play against a I don't remember what I played against. My last round is Mitsu. I know that for sure. A pure Mitsu. I'll put another Vanquish Soul. Ooh, I got my opponent nice. They call by my Femena, and I went Chain Sting, target random shit in their grave, and they're like, sure. And then I put the Femena at the bottom of the deck, and I start fusing. And I'm like, what are you doing? I call by the Femena, and I'm like, no, you didn't. I put it on the bottom of my deck in Chain, so it did not work. And that was cool. So I got to resolve the 5-mana fuse and then cook this shit. And then there's one other round. What am I forgetting? It might have been just another Yummy player. They played a fair bit of Yummy. I can remember. But yeah, round 8 on day 1, I'm playing against Charlie Futch, obviously YC's champion, good player, Dragon Duel world champion. Was at Worlds this year as well. I won the role. Dragon Tail, the field is still very strong. He cannot play through it. Game 2, my Peruli gets ashed, or he gets call buyed, which is super rough because then he goes Azuna, and I'm like, ugh, great. This is like now a starter for him. My hand there was like Rahu, Brandon Fusion. It's like extenders. So I'm like, okay, I can probably play through a field or try. And then he goes Mjolnir Lock, and I'm like, well, that was fun. Yep. So yeah, I end up going 11-3, right? 14 rounds. I went to X3. So I end up in 22nd place. My tiebreakers were not good enough for top 16. So top 32 is where I ended, which is still important. But 22nd place, I get 43 worlds points, which is pretty sizable. It brings me to just about 100 right now. I had how much before? I was 7th place in Vancouver, which is 2658. I have 101 points. So 101 worlds points right now, which I think is pretty respectable. I'll try to win more this weekend in Brazil, as well as the Rochester regional and a Niagara regional. So yeah, 101 points. And then I missed the Valor. So I got the Card Trooper, sleeves, mat, whatever. I'm going for IRL Worlds. I'm going for either or. I'm playing for both. I think a smart move when you care about Worlds and you value them both equally is to try qualify for both and then figure it out then, because it's kind of arrogant to assume you can qualify for either one of them, let alone both. So I'm going to try my best to qualify for both, and then we'll see. How much you need on average? I think last year was about like 450-ish is what you needed to qualify for top 16. It's different every year though, so we'll see. But I'm not concerned. I'm pretty sure I can do it. I'm 100 points in, having not played a regional seriously. So with the regionals that I'll play, and then the YCSs, yeah. And so like some people were saying they just drop from day 2 if they're X3. I'm not fucking doing that. I'm playing for points. Like money or eye on the prize, right? I'm trying to get worlds points. That fucking matters. So I'm still playing it out no matter what. But wouldn't you be able to put more effort for one if you went for one instead of both? Well, they're different seasons, right? So for like this month or so, I've been Master Duel centric for sure. And that's why I didn't have better results in what's it called, this event. I don't think Vancouver would have changed if I played more TCG and my results would have stayed the same. But I definitely feel like 2 of my losses were 2 of my 3 were avoidable if I had been played better at where was I this weekend? Anaheim. So yeah, obviously at some points there are going to be compromises made, but the thing is the Duels Cup or the Master Duel season is now on break for a bit. I'll start it back up for the next Duels Cup in December, and then again in March, and then again in June. And And YCSs don't matter as much, so I'm not going to overly put effort into those when there's Duels Cups around the time. But June, I'll put time into the Master Duel WCQ. And then if that doesn't work out, that gives me over a month to prepare for TCG for Nats. Assuming that the dates stay the same roughly as they were the last few years. Obviously, that could be a wrench in my plans, but that's the that's at least what I'm thinking about. If I know Mashville team, yeah, it's Pack and Sam. Anyways, this was the deck list. So I don't even know where to begin here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to grab a water real quick. Back in a moment. Get your questions ready, I guess, so I can answer them. Okay. Where do I begin? Where do I begin? Okay, so I guess I want to get this out of the way pretty early on. Dracotel is a pretty interesting deck. And not for the reason you may think. So what's cool about it is, even though this is at its core similar structures to what I played at YCS Vancouver, it's a different deck in a lot of ways. Because the game plan of the decks is significantly different. Like a lot of other engine-heavy decks, you can build it in several ways. And the idea behind the deck that I played in Vancouver was to pair hand traps together and then have minimalistic Dracotel pushes to kind of secure the game. So this is not the same approach. This is not trying to hand trap the opponent. It's trying to use the Dracotel cards and the engine more solely to play through fields. And the hand traps you do play are just to either soften the field, not prevent them like you would have before, or to be used on your own turn to some degree, like Ashen, Magnum, or Bell. And that's why they reflect better with Super Poly, for example. So even though this deck is not that many cards different, the entire approach and thought process revolving around the deck should differ. And what that means is when you're not trying to prevent your opponents from playing, oftentimes you don't care that much about 5 mana resolving your opponent's first turn, because that's not your game plan. As well as you hold hand traps like Ashen Bell, Mag, and Nib, sometimes even, for your own turn, and you are just okay with that. So I think that's important to kind of keep in mind. So there's a lot of spells in this deck. Yes, it is. And I maybe once ever, I don't even know if I even did this, but I think it was once, got to resolve 5 mana on my opponent's first turn. It wasn't a key facet of this deck. I wasn't planning around it. If it happened and it was convenient and it was good, then awesome. But it wasn't the sole reason to play this deck, and it's not built to reflect that. If it should stay like that, we can discuss after a more complete profile. But this kind of thought process is integral to understanding how this deck kind of goes about. Because if you try and play this deck the way my Vancouver deck was, you'll see that it doesn't mesh properly. So you have to be able to take that approach and be okay with that. You heard a lot of fear in the pack. However, he's playing Meow's the main for Yamimitsu. Do you not feel Meow's good enough way to do have a different way if you're going to the matchup? We didn't test that or three that much together. Pack said we'd theory and then got too busy. Also, I got too busy. He kind of just like insisted like really, really bad I had to main Super Poly. But Meow's did not sound good enough to me to play. And Yamimitsu didn't seem that impossible of a matchup either though, so I don't know. So, going into the tournament, I expected a fair bit of Draco Tail. And because of that, I wanted to make sure I had some respect to it. And that meant that 3 bells were in my deck, either in the main or side. And you'll see there's 1 bell in the main. And that's kind of because the deck was 39 cards. And I wanted something else to put in. At some point, it was a Cartesia. I know that was popular in a lot of builds. But now playing Seals, I didn't think Cartesia would actually be that helpful here. So I decided to not play the Cartesia in the main. And with me playing Super Poly, I wanted another hand trap that I could draw into off of the traps to bolster my turn 1 field, especially into breaker decks. Decks playing Droplet and Cyclone, which could force out the traps much easier and force me to rely on hand traps a little more. And in those cases, Bell could be useful. So that's why there's 1 Bell. It's not because I wanted a 1-of, it's because I had 1 spot in the deck, and that was the role it took on. Magnamut is kind of the value-oriented approach based on how the deck was built. It's not particularly good at stopping the opponents, but you can weaken their field a little bit while also set yourself up better on your turn, which is why I played it. And then Poly is there to address the specific issue of Arclight, as well as it can be used defensively when you go first pretty well. And the idea for Brand Diffusion is there's a lot of decks that put up 1 negate, whether it be Arclight, Flame, or Purification. So Brand Diffusion gives you another push to force through that negate. That way you still have 2 ways to fusion summon via spells, because once you hit the Urgula, the Pans into rotation, you can engage into a grind game versus these decks, and I feel pretty comfortable once I get there, so I usually am fine winning there. Can you recycle Magnamut? Yeah, of course, with Secretarion and Lion, yeah. I never got to do that, but yeah. As for the side deck, so I wanted some stuff to go first, which is why there's Cartesias and Prosperity in the deck. It's not that dissimilar from what I had before. More ways to fuse, as well as they're just good into Retaliating Sea, which is important. When you open up Cartesia or Malulu, both are very helpful to make sure you don't just get fisted by Shifter. Droll I felt to be very good going first, as well as going second. A lot of matchups, the breaker decks, and no regrets there. And then Phantasma and Perulia. So a problem with this deck is when you're playing versus Yummy, it's supposed to be a quote-unquote good matchup. However, what I don't like about it is Arclight is a big problem, not for the negate, but for the floodgate effect. And if your opponent knows that and holds the Arclight there as a floodgate, it becomes really hard for you to actually win. So you want ways to force the Arclight. And this means, like, if you have Nib, you let them summon Arclight, and then Nib is to trade it off. It also means that you build your deck in a way with that in mind. So what's Super Poly's for? So, yeah. That is important to keep in mind. But then the other problem is a lot of these decks are playing Thrust for Barrier, right? So hand traps also feel a little weird. So the idea here is cards like Nib and Poly or Femena are the cards I need to make the Arclight not as bad. So I just want to draw cards in their turn, which is why Perulian Phantasme, the idea is deep draw a bit. And then you can try and play on both players' turns. You make the tempo of barrier a lot less menacing. And that was the kind of logic, because I think without 5 mana, barrier is almost impossible to beat. And the other circumstances okay is when you have key 2 plus poly. Sometimes you can simplify the game with poly, or you go key 2 and they barrier you. You just add 5 mana and then like clear the field and pass and try a grind game that way. That's also possible. So that was the plan that I was kind of going for. I did not resolve Perulia once. Every single time I drew it, I got Astral Carbide, which for what it's worth means that it's worth it, because it's threatening enough for my opponent. They felt they had to respond to it. So I do think Perulia is good. And yeah, is holding the correct on Starcat is a lot more popular to do something else. This is for pure pure Yummy, not Mitsu Yummy. Most of the pure Yummies weren't going into Sorrow Cat. Mitsu Yummy is different, yeah. It's all against Yummy, not pure. Only the Mitsu version. So that's the way this was built. Honestly, it was fine, and it gives you the best chance, I think, of handling the lingering floods that exist in the format. Because think about it, those cards were all invalidated by the existence of Halisu before, right? It's the fact you play on both players' turns that make those cards unappealing. So getting 5 mana is the best way of stopping that. And the draw cards felt good in that regard. Anything else worth note here? So it almost acts as a smoke screen, where when I'm in those situations where it's like trying to play on Dice Master from last format. In those situations, I almost smoke screen the deck to be more like I had it at Vancouver, and less prepared for the grindy, resource-based one negate matchups, which are the Mirror and Mitsu. Moving forward, I may swap it so that you're more side decked for those grindy matchups, and your main deck's more for the higher tempo ones. So Droll and Perulia gain more credence there. Mana Fusion becomes less important. Magma becomes worse. So those are things I'm kind of weighing as I'm looking at the format new. As for the extra deck, it's tight. With Super Poly, you are limited on options. Pack said not to play Mirror Jade. I didn't trust him on that, but truthfully, it probably didn't need to be there. A lot of the time, instead of Mirror Jade, you make Chaos, and Chaos is really good. I like the card a lot, even without the Brandon stuff. Sanctifier is simple, just a way to perfect Soul in the Grave. You could put Cartesia. I know Pack wants to do that, but I almost never did that. And then Sanctifier is really cool because you can give them cards as well, and then bounce them back with Horn. So what I did a couple times was give them Pan and then bounce it back, or this give them Pan and Albaz, then fuse with the Pan, that's Chaos, and then you pop a card with this. That'll pop with this, which is cool. So yeah, you can still do a lot of disruption with the Sanctifier without needing to play Mirror Jade, which is kind of the premise there. Remember, Herald was using Pankratops to play over Yummy stuff. Is Herald not that worth it? Or is it not that worth it? I think Poly is just a better card. It's the same thing, but Poly is a better card. You could play both, but then you may have an abundance of it. The Secretarion come up. Absolutely. It comes up all the time. Mysterion came up literally my first round, but that's it. I couldn't find space for it, though. I chose Cross Sheep over Seals. I think Cross Sheep is very underrated in this deck. I summon that card a lot. I like a lot with Frixel as well. And just lets you generate extreme amounts of advantage. And I feel like your engine is stronger than people give it credit for. When you have like Malulu, Phimena, Pan, Urgula in play with a Golem, you actually have a lot of disruptions. So I don't think you need the Seals bounce or the access from deck more. So I really like what's it called? Pan helps with Di-Fi. But the problem is that it requires me to put it in versus Mitsu, which is what's playing Di-Fi mostly. And then if you do that, you have to beat Purification. How do you beat that out? Well, you can't really. So the goal is to try clear the field and never poly to make try turn off Purification, and then win that game with Chaos to pop the Di-Fi. Is 3-line mandatory? It is. Yeah. One Golem, it never mattered, but it was close to mattering like twice. Ideally, I like a second Gulamel, but I didn't like need the Gulamel. The Mirage never came up. I never summoned Lubellion either, but you definitely would in some game states. Titaniclad was only ever used for Brand Infusion into Lava Golem, but I don't know if you need it either. And then the other thing with this card is because I'm talking about monster effects, what you do is you summon it and you can attack into Arclight. And that's kind of cool. They can't just book it, but yeah. Also mentioned there's someone patching instead of Di-Fi. Yeah, that too. Yeah. So watch pack profile. Why? Well, I want to watch the profile that's pretty similar to my own. For me, Super Poly was just okay. A lot of the times I drew it, I still like lost to like the floodgate effects. So it didn't really help going second the way that I wanted it. Magnamut felt pretty underwhelming. Brand of Fusion was hit or miss. It was great going first. Going second, it was eh. It's pretty half most other things. The Bell in the main wasn't very good. It was mostly for Dracotel and Mitsu, but I didn't play enough of those to warrant the Bell in the main. And most other times I drew was kind of bad. So yeah. I think it's a pretty comprehensive breakdown of the deck. I'll be back in the lab to kind of build a new deck for Brazil this weekend, which I leave for on Thursday, so it'll be tight. How's that going for you to like Kaiju's better? I expected them to end on double Liger, which is why I wanted Lava Golem. I only played one Lunalight, and it wouldn't want me in the game, but I punted. Would you ever play any of the new branded cards in this deck? I don't know. Over siding patterns, I winged it. I had no time to prep. Don't worry about it. Don't my side deck you should fix. You can incorporate the concepts, but don't copy my side deck verbatim. Joseph, thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate you. Hope you had a good weekend. Lava Golem searchable? Yes, you can branded fusion it for Titaniclad, and then you add back off Lion. Hope you all had a good time.
I thought that
Jester, this was the sub. Guys, if you don't know, we are doing a whaling stream tomorrow, and if you sub now or tomorrow, you will be adding packs to the counter. 3 more packs for the next bonus. So every single sub is 10 packs we open, and then every 5 subs, an additional 1 pack or 10 packs. So right now we're at 310 packs, which is a lot, but not crazy. The most we ever done is 1,500, and I want to see if we can break that. 150,000. Going for Royal Murakumo. This is a reprint pack, so it'll be that too. Also supports me, so please consider subbing if you haven't already. Prime subs as well. Go a long way, help. Anyways. Yeah, I don't know. The YCS, this was not a masterful Jesse event. My necklace was not perfect. There were things I'd change. Theory was okay. It wasn't horrible. I played decent. I didn't play terrible. I think my results reflected that. I'm not thrilled with 22nd. It's not bad, though, either. I'll try it again in Brazil, obviously, next week. And, yeah, any other questions? The boy still viable, or are they just there now? In Master Duel, it's not bad, but it's not going to TCG. You ever set up some Draco spells? Key2, not anymore. Rahu, yes. So the reason I don't set out Key2 is when you're playing into a D barrier, if you lead Key2 and they chain barrier, you add 5 mana, and then if you can like break the field by chaining Super Poly or nibbing them, making them end on a half field, then you can engage in a grind game with 5 mana. So I said it Rahu sometimes and I want less spells, which does definitely happen. Like 1 or 2 copies, but Key 2 never gets cut. I feel about 3 traps. I liked it. I'm not always able to search 3, but drawing them is also not the end of the world. Yeah, I didn't mind it. I was happy with it. Face any Malice? Oh, that was the last deck I played. Yeah, I played Malice round 13. That was a weird match. I opened up, I lost the roll. My opponent goes set 1 pass. My hand is fucking 3 Key 2s, 2 Foaloses. And then I drew Bell for turn. So I go Key 2, he ashes, I pass. He goes normal summon March Hare. I use 1 Fua to try to get him to Link Garibo. I draw Nib off that. I'm like, all right. Or I draw Pan, like whatever. Then he goes Wizard Effect. And I'm like, shit. If I Fua here, he may just kill me. So I Bell it. Hopes that I draw a playable card. Or the Key 2 resolves and I win. I draw Nib for turn. I key 2 and I get ashed again. I'm like, fuck. All right. Well, I Fua him. He starts playing. I nib him. He gives me like 6 straws. But I don't draw 5 mana, so still die. Yeah, and then game 2, I go first. Easy to win. Game 3, my opponent did make a mistake. They could have tried playing through Ash. Instead, they decided to make it so that if they got Ash, they end on IP with GWC, which they did. But then I just go like normal Malulu, fuse immediately, and he falls way too far behind. But if he had gone for instead of GWC set NTP, he already had TB11, then I would have probably got comboed. My hand wasn't fantastic, so yeah. So yeah, 1 Malice. All right, any other questions on the deck? I like to think that I was pretty comprehensive and in depth with my theory here, but I'm still happy to obviously answer some more questions while we're here. Worst matchup? I don't really know, to be honest. Nothing felt that bad. How was Poly? Honestly, I didn't drop that much, and I did. It was not great. It won me like 2 games, but also did nothing like 2 games. Ever considered Crowley? No, I don't lose games I get to play. I think people really overstate how strong, how weak this deck is when it gets to play. Like, I understand it's not, Mitsu levels of broken fields, but this deck is good. Like, your end field is good. Is random package mandatory, or do you get at drawing of stars? You can just cut it. You can cut it. It's not huge. I don't draw multiple traps. Running 3 because you draw them more now. I drew 2 traps twice. I drew 1 trap a lot. Yeah. I think Magistus makes this deck better. Well, it's Luxpenta. I haven't tested it, but Crowley, no. Would you still play Brandon Detail over Pure? I'm not sure. I need to think about that still. People are scared of having to think when to use interactions. That's the whole point of Yu-Gi-Oh! Does Crime of a place? No, not remotely. 3 traps feel right? It did. Because I don't like having to choose between Horn and Sting. Although, you're probably going to have to. I mean, it might be 2 is correct. I could be wrong. But 3 was fine. Like Thrust drawing second? Well, the biggest problem is Deep Barrier. I don't want to get fucking buried and have a Thrust in my hand. Was 2 pan enough, or do you find yourself 1 in the 3rd? You've seen lists on 3 pan, 1 Urg. So remember, this deck is not built to play like the last one. I don't need to find mana on my opponent's turn 1. In that case, then I don't need 2, because 2 and 2 lets me keep 1 in hand, 1 in grave, a lot more simpler, a lot more often. How have you thought about anti-magic arrows to beat the Mitsu Omni Trap versus Di-Fi? Well, it doesn't beat Di-Fi, right? Also, it turns off your own spells, so no, I would not do that. What do you think of the Trish Fusion? I saw that. I don't really get it, though. It seems like a lot of work. Yeah, this is a stop dimensional Fisher. Besides Canine, what's the best deck? Or Krishna, what's the best deck the Canine fits into? Sulfur Cyber Dragon, Mento, Mitsu, Pure. Yeah. You want to banish Tragedy off it? That sounds like hella bricks. I'm not about that. Not even close. Do you like this deck with heavy branded side than detail? No. The Dracotel cards are the broken cards. I don't want you guys to conflate the branded with the Dracotel. These cards are not that crazy. These are the fucking broken cards. Like these 3. And Lion. Do not mix that up. So, yeah, I would not focus more on the branded cards. I looked into Canine support. Yeah, I did read them. Not on stream, but I have read them. I'm disappointed with Dragatel's performance. I don't really care about how other people do with the deck. I care about, well, myself. Obviously, I didn't win, but I'll try. And I'll probably play this deck in Brazil again. I enjoy this deck a lot. It's fun, and that's important for a deck. And I think it's not bad. So, yeah, I'll stick with it. Pretend you didn't hear that. Hear what? That Drake's card is better than Brand Fusion. You're crazy. Want to change going to Brazil? Well, I'm not going to be public about that, right? Like, I've given my thoughts. You can draw your own conclusions. But as I'm preparing for Brazil, I'm not going to share the list publicly. Branded slander. Well, I didn't even slander branded much. I just think it's not as good as Dracotel. And that's just the truth. Someone asked why no locks for Sanctifier. Because reviving Albaz or Malulu or Lucius even is honestly good enough. I revived an Urgula once to fuse it away because my opponent goes droplet, sends spell. I'm like, all right, I'll revive Urgula. So now, the droplet doesn't matter, and then I fused it away and popped his back row. Well, that's cool. Bench Marika Tragedy doesn't make any better. I don't want to play Mark on this fucking deck. I don't want extra bricks. Do you generally support tiers or deck design? I do, but I imagine that'll be a topic of discussion in Josh's video. So I'm going to hold off on discussing it too much now. Did you miss Seal? No. I only could have summoned it once. I made Cross Sheep instead, and it was fine. I was still very in control of the game with Cross Sheep. Is the point of branded stuff to just make Sanctifier to revive Albaz and Lulu? It's, well, that's not why. The whole point of playing it is to send Frixel and have another starter. Did I miss SP? Never. I never understood that card. I summoned that card 0 times ever playing this deck, I think. That card is super bait. I think Pure is better than the branded package. I'm undecided still. With the Siphon Trap that negates traps to beat barrier. Great idea. When I draw Malulu and Epsilon, I'll thank you a lot for that one. Spheres reading them before because Mitsu got popular. The balance for Spheres was never that strong. Thank you. Finally, someone said it about SB. I never see that card coming up, and most of the time, I don't want to convert my 3,000 attack monster into SP to get a banish. Like, I do believe there are game states where it could come up, but it is not important. My experience with Light and Dark Dragons, I have not yet. I like Jeff's deck. I did. Alright, I'm going to stop answering some of the repeat questions now. Like the branded repair. I've answered it 3 times. I'm sorry, but you can rewatch the VOD. Spear's real strength has always been the summon from the deck, not the bounce. Yeah, exactly. Cross summon from grave is honestly pretty much the same thing when you're setting up your grave thanks to Rahu, Kitu, and the crew. Cross Sheep with Frixel was kind of crazy, but honestly, it'll probably win more in a lot of cases. So without branded cards, I wonder if you even play Frixel. Probably not. How much does the third line come up, if ever? I'd say once every 3 matches, which is definitely enough for me to want to play 3. And specifically, Mitsu and Dracotel matchups, it is very important. Like Canine Long Dracotel? Like a small Canine package, yes. Not, I don't like the big one. TJ not good in this build. Your eyes are free. Frixel sucks. It's, oh, I don't know, I'd say it sucks, but yeah, not brilliant. I think if you're not playing Branded Fusion, don't play Frixel, probably. How many Chaos come up? Like 5 times, maybe? I summoned it plenty. Oh, that card was good. I would play Chaos over Mirror Jade if you have to choose. I think it's a better card. Because there were times where I'd find mana like a Malulu and a Lion. So I'd go like Malulu, fuse away Pan in hand, make Lion, pop the field, bounce a card, and then later go find mana, fuse Malulu and Lion on field into Chaos, pop another card, and negate a card. That interaction happened like twice and was really useful for defending myself. So yeah, I think that Chaos is good, even without the bandit cards. What can you play Mirror Jade with? So Mysterion is missing. I don't know if you need it. Hermetic Seal package is also not bad. Yeah. We were back in 6 trying to troll farming again. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna give this another quick shout out, guys. We are doing a whale challenge. Hopefully tomorrow with the new pack coming out and with the reprint pack. We're gonna try to open as many packs as we can. And use subbing does directly support the channel as well as increase the pack counter. More than you guys are paying. I'm still losing money per sub, but I still want to do well. I know it's fun content for you guys. I love the whale streams. I just want to make it a little bit lighter burden on my wallet. So please consider subbing, even if not just for the whale stream, just the content you're getting today. Pro opinions, deck lists, experiences. There's a lot of stuff you may have to pay for some coaching services, just saying. We'll go a long way, so appreciate it, any support. Is the Pelly bad on the stack? It's just the Super Toy. I don't think you need it. I think a double cycloned once. You bought Draken today. Remember you mentioning you like the buck. It is a good buck. It's nice meeting you. I met you before, but I hope I'm having a good day. I'm having a good day. I still have the Fuwalos magnets, or I have 2 of them. My friend took one of them. He said it looked cool. Does Prime help? It does. It does help. Thank you. Are they gonna run the same list in Brazil? No. I'm gonna try different things, but also I'm probably not gonna share that until after the event. Except on the Patreon. The Patreon I always post the list before the event, but yeah. Not everything is gonna be free, obviously. Okay. So overall tournament experience, I was obviously happy with the deck. Could have been better, could have played better, played okay though. And ended up in a decent spot. I had some non-games, the way that people described the stream was, but also had many games that weren't. Not all my games were miserable. Plenty of mine were fun. I think the large majority of them were interactive. I'd say maybe 4 or 5 games ended with like the floodiness. And it's partially because you look at my deck has none of them. It has Droll, Fua, Perulia, but outside of those, it's not playing Barrier, it's not playing Mjolnir. So my games were never forced into cancer by my kind of responsibility. And my opponent never got to really resolve it a crazy amount. But we'll discuss the Josh stuff in a bit. But games got Barrier, I think like 3 games. Ugh. New cards. What do you mean? All right, I think that wraps up the Anaheim discussion. Any other questions about Anaheim before we move on to the Duels Cup discussion? Because we still haven't done that yet. Akuma, thanks so much for the sub. Appreciate you. 10 more packs adds to the counter.
I thought that Jesse was cooked.
Guys, want to pull Royal Rares. We need more packs. We need more packs. Sure, we got some subs in there. Josh video. Most about Anaheim. I kind of want to do that after all the recap. How was Genesis format Anaheim? Was it well respected or represented? I think it was. I think it was good. It also wasn't super on top of it. Do you get to any IRL Genesis? No. Because you played the extra 3 rounds. I only finished the tournament at like 3 or 4 p.m. So by the time that there was not many side events open. At Little Day 1 and 2 there were 3 side events. That's rough. There was absolutely more here, way more. All right. Now I know in the future you guys are not that hyped for the whale streams. All right, good to know. Anyways, let's talk about Master Duel. Okay. So the Duelist Cup. Where are my results again? You're broke, that's all you got. I appreciate you, but I want more than one person or more than 4 people to be hyped. I'd like 4 of you hyped, but only 4 of you are interested. That's a bit of a shame. I want to get the whole, chat interested. What the fuck is this? Anyways, Duelist Cup. So, yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk about this. I know this is somewhat old news at this point. It is a week and a half old. But yeah, how did this go? So my streams have obviously been a little fewer and far between because of playtesting for Master Duel World Championship, but then also because of the Master Duelist Cup last weekend. I've been pretty vocal that the ultimate goal for myself in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the World Championship. It's one of the most prestige. It's one of the most fun events. It's also the most lucrative event where YC's prices are getting better, but even with that said, Worlds still dwarfs it. So qualifying for Worlds is still primary motive for me. In the TCG, outside of Worlds points, there's not much you can do to qualify for Worlds during the main season. So at points, it will fall a bit to a backside or backdrop while I'm focusing on Master Duel. I've been playing a lot of Master Duel in preparation for all this, and I played a lot of fucking Malice, which, if you guys know, I detest. I did not like playing Malice, not playing against Malice. And I made a video talking about it already, how much I didn't like Malice and how much fun it would be to play the Cup. Anyways, getting to the Cup on Thursday night, starts at midnight my time. I played for about 2.5 hours, climbed like 12k, which is whatever. Went to bed for like 6 or 7 hours, and then woke up around 10 and started dueling again. So I actually didn't play a lot of Malice on day one. I played about half and half on another deck. I'll show you guys in a second. But I climbed to 42k before midnight on Friday. So before the first 24 hours were done. And I was in top 10. And I thought, okay, this is super good. Like, I have a fantastic start. I've been top 10. I'm going to bed, and we continue the grinds tomorrow, and we'll be all good. For pretty much the next, like, 48 hours, so, like, 56 hours, whatever, for the Duelist Cup, I could not move from 42,000. I moved up or down 5k from, like, 42, like, 20 times. I was, calling myself Sisyphus, for those of you who know that story. Rolling the boulder up the hill and then back down I go every time. It's rough because I saw everybody pass me as I went from top 10 to 200th, and I gave up with like 40 minutes left. It was rough and demoralizing because the games were not fun. I obviously don't like the format. I've been open. I'm not going to overly discuss it because I've been talking about it too much. And I was hoping to get some content done and stream during the week between the Duelist Cup and Anaheim. But a lot of work with Human Dimensions coming in, so I have to process all that product. But then also, I'm not going to lie, it was very mentally taxing. I felt like shit. Like, obviously, physically, I was tired from playing that much Yu-Gi-Oh! But also, I've been putting in a lot of time into Master Duel between Worlds and this over the last like 3 or 4 months, and I've yielded bad results in both those tournaments, which is not normal for me when I try and apply myself. So it did feel rather crappy, the way it panned out here. And I wasn't expecting to win. I was aiming for 60k and to gradually improve at this format to get better. But yeah, had a dismal performance. And yeah, wasn't good. Like burnt out. I was feeling a bit burnt out. I felt demoralized, burnt out, and had me question, like, do I really want to do this right now? Because here's the thing. It's hard and it can be tiring physically to play a YCS. But at the end of the day, I enjoy myself doing that. I enjoy the travel. I enjoy seeing friends. I enjoy playing. Most of the time. fuck shifter. But for the Duelist Cup, it's those things, but it's also more mentally taxing, and I don't enjoy it. It's fun to spectate, I will say, but to play it is not. So I'm committed to this year. I'm playing with Ryan and Sam. Pack and Sam, not Ryan. Part of me wonders, though, how much I want to keep doing Master Duel in the future at a competitive level. Maybe Josh is right. Obviously, he played all last year and dealt with this. I didn't because I wasn't playing. But it fucking sucks. And I don't have fun doing it. And going to the YCS this weekend, I had a good time. I was chilling. So, yeah. You love doing the marathon play? That's fine. You're allowed to enjoy it. I do not, though. What did I play for the tournament? So I prepared a bunch of different decks, including Malice being one of the decks I plan on playing the most. One deck that I queued quite a bit, that I actually quite liked, that I think people do not give credit to, is Blue Eyes. So the idea behind this deck is going second, you have hand traps, and you hope they have enough dead cards that you can just hand trap your way into a grind game with Primites or Blue Eyes, and their hand traps just suck against you. All the Fuas, the Maxis, the Lancias are all terrible. So that's the here. And honestly, I climbed pretty well with this deck at the start. I switched to Malice after a bit, but I almost wonder if I should have stayed on Blue Eyes because it's pretty good. When you go first, you win almost always versus everything that's not Malice. Versus Malice, if they have all extenders, it can get weird. But if their hand is filled with any sort of dead cards, whether it be redundancy or dead hand traps, you usually just win. So this deck is low-key, not as bad as people think it is. I was climbing rated with it too. I had like 1750 rated with Blue Eyes. So, don't count this deck out. It's cool. There are 2 Blue Eyes at top 100. I know. And it wasn't represented that well. So it should kind of like show that it's more playable people realize. Blue Eyes, I think it's better now too with the Fairy Dragon and 3 Sage. Yeah, it does for sure. Is the 2 counter traps actually good? Yeah, these were solid. I just don't want to draw multiples, as well as if you don't draw them, it's not the end of the world. I'd rather have more hand traps, but beyond this, there were no more hand traps I wanted to play, so I maxed out on the ones I wanted. The idea here was if everyone is taking a tempo-based approach, I'm gonna take on a control-based approach and have their cards be dead. And then, yeah, that was kind of the idea. $140 Dragon's Mind. I've opened up a lot of that pack. Also 140 commons. So that was the cup. I don't have specific games. I recorded my run. I don't think I've posted it on YouTube yet. Maybe I'll try and pick out the coolest games because there were some cool ones. But yeah, I don't know. Definitely wasn't a fun event. No Lila? What? Oh, Lina? No. Did you change next? We did it all over? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't know. It was not good. I'm not going to dwell on it because obviously it is older news, and we're not going to talk about it too much. But it wasn't a great experience, and I felt very fatigued and taxed afterwards. I'm sorry there were no streams last week. That was why. That and other work just had me kind of to the point where I needed a break. So, yeah. I need to go to the washroom real quick, guys. I'm back in a minute. Want to support the channel? Please sub. It also helps with the whaling stream. Let's go. All right, I'm back. Sorry. All right, hopefully too many of you didn't leave. Okay, so we are caught up on Duelist Cup in Anaheim from my experiences. Anybody has any other questions about those? You can ask while we open packs. Oh, excuse me. Because, as I've said, every stream, until we pull a French Exodia, I'll open a box of this set. So, yeah, the top 100, I did not. So yeah, we got this to open up. Let's do a quick this. It'll take like 5 minutes. Yes, new keyboard. You guys inspired me to get a new keyboard. I got a new keyboard, and it sounds good. It's a rainy. Let's get this open. I'll start the Gamba as well. Start a prediction. Will we get the French Exodia? So for context, I've opened up I think 29 boxes of this set, and I've not pulled a French Exodia. So the odds are I'll probably not pull it. However, we'll still Gamba, and then hopefully I do, because one of these days I should pull it. Yeah. Does the French Exodia eat snails? You've already asked that. Unless somebody else asked that too. What did I eat in Anaheim though? So I had Red Rock Cafe on Thursday, which is Japanese curry I got, which was pretty good. We don't have good Japanese curry in my area, or Japanese food in general. I guess there's ramen. That's good, but I don't like sushi, and there's no good curry near me. So that was nice. Friday, I had this dumpling place that was terrible, and then I went to Craft Barbecue for dinner, which was terrible. Some people liked it, but I hated it. I ordered chicken, which you can say, oh, my fault, but I wanted to fucking eat healthier, and it was one of the worst like meals I've ever had traveling. It was horrible. Like so overcooked, unseasoned, and dry. It was actually miserable. So yeah. Saturday, what did I eat Saturday? I ordered Subway for breakfast. No, that was Sunday. Oh, I got a convention center burrito. And then for dinner Sunday or Saturday we had Cheesecake Factory. Sunday I had Subway for breakfast. And then I had BJ's for dinner. Yeah, that was it. Packing District. Last time I went there was closed by the time I went. Anyways, let's go. Let's open up 10 packs. You love BJ's for dinner? BJ's is solid. Bro, cook for yourself. What? Is this a new viewer? What fucking nonsense is this? All ever since today. I'll let it slide. They literally asked me what I ate in Anaheim. I'm in a fucking hotel. What do you want me to cook for myself? Okay. Another Kaiman. All right. How dare I not take the camping stove to Anaheim with me? Surely I'd get in trouble trying to bring that over the border. Or through TSA. Tyrant. Can you get BJ's for dinner? Guys, BJ's is a restaurant chain. Like, I'm not saying blowjobs. I got the last time I got the gumbo. This time I got the what's it called? Marinara? Chicken parmigiana. Yeah. BJ's are solid. Okay, secret rare. So the last card is going to be a better card, stamped card or something. Stamped, but not good. Did Rajin get BJ's? No, Ray did not get BJ's. He went to Korean barbecue instead. Did I get a Bazooki? This time I did. Last time I was too full to get a Bazooki, and I was super sad. So this time I made sure to save space for the Bazooki, and I shared one with my friend, with Isala. Probably Cookie Sunday at BJ's. I mean the Bazooki, right? No, like these type of songs. What's playing right now? I don't have my headphones in. Me gustas too. This song just like sounds retro. It's like the only one I have like it, but I like it. Latin American music is cool, if you can call this that. It's like a weird combination of French and Spanish. All right, garbage. What does BJ stand for? No clue. Don't ask. All right, so you could rare third card. Hopefully it's Exodia. Stamped Maiden, ultra rare. Okay. Sounds retro. It is retro. How old is this song? Compared to other shit on my playlist, it can't be that old. Okay. 30 years old. That's nothing. That's definitely newer than most other songs on this playlist. All right, one pack left. Dude, I'm never going to get French Exodia. Actually, just never. Is this the box number 30? Oh, we got a stamped ultra here, which means the last card is either stamped secret or Exodia. Please, 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 please. Exodia obliterates. Fuck, that's a cool card, I guess. All right, Stamp Secret Products. There's my ultras there. Let's go there. I clean up my desk pretty badly. Oh wait, no, this should be here too. It goes there. And this goes there. That was scary. What did I say? Was it like super loud in your ears? Because I don't usually raise my voice. I'm not Triff. I'm rather mellow normally. Look at that Dinkabui's Drag Fire King deck. Yeah, I have. I'm not a huge fan, to be honest. Kind of. This is a rainy. It was like 160 CAD. It's cool. I'm happy with my choice. It sounds cool. Like, I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'll do some typing. This is a test. Can you hear this? Yeah, I think you guys can hear it. It's supposed to sound like rain, which is cool. What switch does it have? Nope, I didn't understand what any of that meant, so I just clicked whatever. But I'm getting more into script writing, and with that, I need I wanted a nicer keyboard. It's a little more soothing. Speaking of, dude, I got some new equipment last week, and it was such a fucking headache. I can't get it to work. It's actually so, oh god, it's been so frustrating. It's a lot quieter than Ray's. I mean, mine is for my own satisfaction, right? I don't care if you guys can hear my keyboard. I want to enjoy myself. Did you comment on all the talk about tops and casual content that's going on Twitter? I have not, and I don't want to. Here's what I posted. So another top 32 under the belt. 22nd place. I was very specific with what I got and what I said. I did literally get top 32. If that is a top to you, count it. If it's not, don't. I don't care. Because, end of the day, don't overly fuss on what somebody else cares about. Focus on yourself. Anybody trying to use this as a metric for dismissing other people, ignore them. Don't be that person yourself. Try and be a better person, you know, more morally upstanding. So don't try and diminish other people's results. Oh, I'm not even screen sharing. I'm sorry, guys. I meant to show. Yeah, 22nd, X3. That should be recognized as the top. I don't care. Because why do you care about my opinion? Here's the thing. You shouldn't care what I think. It fucking doesn't matter. When somebody asks how many tops you have, and before it was the ARGs count, the LCS count, does National Worlds count? People ask me that too. I have my own opinions, and if I'm asked how many tops or wins I have, and they like actually want to know, I'll ask them, what are the parameters? How do you define it? Let them decide, and I'll tell them. I don't give a shit. Because otherwise, it doesn't matter. Tops are subjective. It's all ridiculous. People arguing top cut. If that's how we're interpreting what top means as top cut, then yes. If we were interpreting it as top just being top 32, like short for that, or top 64, then count it as that. I don't care. And no one else should either. It's such a waste of a conversation, I think. I thought the Anaheim finals sounded bad, but I'd really watch it at its full. Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro deck defines it. If that's what you want to use, sure, I don't care. I'm a power bottom. Yeah. You want to watch the Josh video? Are we done? Oh, I threw the prediction outcome. Yeah, we can do that. What about top 2000? Why do you care what I think? My understanding is that when you say top, it means you've reached the top cut. Okay. I don't care about the semantics. I really don't, which is the thing. I don't care. What do you think of the Crystron Mitsu variant? I don't even know what that is. I've been around in this community or in life in general to know that the world is a mixed bag of characters and peoples. There will always be people who don't like you. There will always be people who want to see you fail. And there will always be people who want to diminish your achievements. No matter how you look at things. No matter how you frame it. So with that in mind, just try and be critical and moral in your way of thinking, is the way to put it. So that for one, you don't let it affect yourself, but also it's not, even if I accidentally treat others bad, because I don't make it like I'm a saint here, right? Like I've said things that probably shouldn't have said, either because I wasn't thinking about it or as emotional. But yeah. Don't fuss about it. You hit a prize, that means the top. You decide, I don't care. That's the end result. You decide for yourself. I don't give a shit. Do I like you? I do. You should give some subs because you like me so much. Yeah. I don't want to get too much into the drama more than that because I don't have that much to add. And I think it's overall worthless. I really try and not engage myself too much in it. Thank you, Colbert. Appreciate you. And the journey to become a better person, as much as I want to be a better Yu-Gi-Oh player, also be a better person, is always up there on my list. And part of that involves this sort of thinking. In my opinion, of course, hard to always be completely objective. I look cooler with a beard? Nah, there's no way. This is fucking scruffy. There's no way you guys think this is good, right? Like, truthfully.
Green.
Yeah, I think this looks like shit, just say.
This is the worst fucking
I only have this because I haven't shaved yet after I got back. Gotta grow it out some more. This is a week of no shaving, guys. I don't think I can grow it out. Does your beard get fuller? I've never grown it for more than like a week and a half. Maybe 2 weeks. It does not get very full. Grow it for 2 months? Dude. Yeah. Try a no shave November. Maybe. But there's no way it looks good. So what you guys have to remember is, I discussed earlier in the stream, it's the cystic acne makes it so that it'll always be somewhat patchy is the problem. Because the same as my hair. If you look at my hair, there's going to be patches where there's nothing there. Because there's scar tissue from the cysts. It's the same in my face. So it also makes shaving a fucking nightmare, I will say. Because I end up bleeding a lot or cutting a cyst and AIDS. But yeah, what you gonna do? You have this problem too? You have HS? That's what I have. Looks fine. Try it. Yeah, I have no idea. Let it grow and it'll grow better next time you shave it. What is it risk to kill himself every time he shaves? Alright, relax. It's not that bad. What the fuck? Guys, I don't have acne. I want to make it very clear that I have a medical condition that is not acne. Anyways, what do you used to shave? Maybe a trimmer might reduce cuts. I just like electric razor. Tried oregano oil. The fuck? It's called Hydrodenitis Supertiva. Anyways, let's not talk about this. I read viewer duels. I did it like last month. Diagnosed with ligma. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Anyways, are we done? Are we done? I am not looking for your advice on the skincare. Unless you have HS, your opinion is meaningless. React to the Josh video. I'm trying to, but I'm being held up by chat. Is Josh still in? Ah! What did you miss? No. Master Duel pack openings will be tomorrow. What is it? Still playing tomorrow? I'm not sure. So, tomorrow we're going to do a whale stream. Hopefully. The amount of whaling we do depends on the amount of subs we get. The rules that you can figure out by going !mark whale challenge. Subbing does help today or tomorrow. But after the whaling part of the stream, we're going to be doing a duel room where I'm going to give Steam the gift cards out to the people with the coolest deck and person who does the best in an open duel room. And I'll compete myself in it. But they have to use new cards. So, make sure you tune in tomorrow for more about that, because that'll be cool as well. So yeah, duel room. One sub is $100. No, one sub is like the equivalent to me spending like $16, $17. So I make like 20% back. Can Maxi be banned? I would in fact hope it gets banned. To compete in the remote YCSs. When they line up with my schedule, yeah. My hair seems normal to me. I mean, it's not terrible. If I cut it shorter, you'd see more problems with it. No, I didn't play any Genesis. The YCS was too busy. I showed up to the YCS without a deck again. This was intentional. I just didn't have time to build a deck at home, so I had to scrape it together with the cards I was borrowing. Oh, and I bought a Max Rudy Draco Tail deck because I like the deck a lot and I had fun with it and I wanted to buy it. I'm curious why I have 16 notifications. Oh, I got tagged in that. Okay.
I thought that Jesse was cooked.
Valaiha, thank you so much for the sub. I want to assume that's how you pronounce it, but thank you very much. We were at 300. Was that the bonus pack? I think it is a bonus pack now. So we're now at 350 packs. I'm not keeping track of this well enough. Whatever. 350 packs so far. 35,000 gems. I watched Free Run. I have watched Free Run. Yeah, it was good. I'll watch season 2 when it comes out. I post Genesis content on YouTube. Do you think this is meant to Mashable soon? Mashable, probably not. Genesis content, yes. What's it called? I'll give a little bit of a channel update, guys. I may do a video on this as well, but between Burned Out, fuck, I'm tired. So I got home at 4 in the morning last night, guys. What was I saying? You'll see that my channel has not posted a ton of content over the last bit, and there was no video yesterday, and there might not be a video tomorrow. I'm gonna try and post one tomorrow, but it's been a little scarce. Pretty much, the channel's growth has slowed down a bit, and I need to think of something else that I can do. So I'm taking a bit of a break to kind of reposition myself. I want to do more scripted content because that's what I enjoy about YouTube and want to do more of. So I need to get ahead on that and get better at it. Also, some Genesis content, and another weekly series or bi-weekly series. That way I can have an easier time making content consistently, because otherwise it's hard to always have a topical discussion to talk about. So for October, expect a little bit less content, and hopefully I'll be back stronger and sooner in November. Nothing crazy, but yeah. And one of the bi-weekly series that I'll be doing will be Genesis with Sam. So and it's a simple series. All it's going to be is every week we have to bring new decks, cannot bring the same as anything we played before, and we play. That's all it is. What do I think of the end board? I don't like these challenges. Is it going to be a fucking shifter? Oh, it's just Malice, or Mitsurugi. What's it called? I mean, sure. Endboard is not all its importance in a deck, so I'm not gonna. We'll talk about Mitsurugi when we play with Mitsurugi. Collab with Fartfa, dude. Every time, yeah, I need to. He is not good at planning though. It's rough. Okay. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Or are we going to the Josh video? I don't have a fart for what? No, it's just he is not good at coordinating stuff, and I feel like I'm pulling hair every time. I already go over the new cards. I have not. I already read them though. I don't know how much there's to talk about. So you're not gonna get live reactions though, is the unfortunate part. Carbonara or bolognese? I can't have pork, so I can't eat either. Literally never had either. I've had a vegan bolognese. I know you guys will be like, ah, it's made like walnuts, mushrooms, and tomato sauce. That was good, but obviously, oh, and I added cheese to it because I don't care about the vegan shit. But the more typical ragus with meat sauce, unless you find a beef one, I can't do it. Make bolognese with beef meat. Everyone that I've asked in restaurants has been pork. I understand that it does exist, so I just haven't had it. But yeah. Bologna should be good food, though. Okay. We also do a halal version of carbonara. Yeah, I've never tried it. I don't know. It doesn't sound very appealing. Did Farfa react to Josh? All right. Codenames, but it's Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay. Where's Josh's video? This body's popping off. This looks fine. Okay, let's turn off Spotify. And put this on a little bit faster. We'll do a volume check, guys. Let me know how the volume is.
Duelists, I'm tired. And I hate that I have to make this video right now, but I need...
How do I sound in relation to this? Do we need to increase the audio, or are we good? Good. That's good. Perfect. Muy bien. All right, so I'm gonna put this video in chat. Obviously, if we are watching content from someone else, I want to make sure you guys are subscribed and liking their content as well. We don't want to be stealing any views. So make sure you go give Josh a like and a subscribe. I shall do the same. I'm already subscribed, but like. The Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG has problems. Obviously, this comes after Josh has switched to mostly TCG and has praised it. And I imagine this comes in the wake of YCS Anaheim, where there were some not so desirable future matches. Instead of over speculating, let's listen to the video and we can engage in discussion.
Duelists, I'm tired. And I hate that I have to make this video right now, but I need to vent. And I'm not tired because I've been streaming for 20 hours this weekend, watch partying YCS Anaheim with you guys together, when it went until like 4 a.m.
Yeah, it's like an 8-hour time difference. It's fucked. I know he actually stayed awake the whole time. That's rough.
In the morning for me both days. I'm tired of non-games in Yu-Gi-Oh! And I want to talk about that. And the reason why I want to talk about that right now is because I felt like YCS Anaheim was one of the worst viewing experiences I've had in a long time when it comes to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Event, maybe ever. And I'm not talking production quality, because that was pretty good, but I'm talking the actual gameplay, and I want to discuss that. I need to vent a little bit about the TCG.
I want to quickly comment that I'll provide my own, I guess, experiences from Anaheim, but I cannot speak to the feature matches because I was not watching them. I was obviously competing in the tournament. So I'm going to have to take a lot of the stuff that he's saying at face value. And not saying he is in any way misleading, but yeah, I mean, I have to just say yes to him speaking to experiences. What a pause. He said he was tired. He looks tired. Looks like Sleepy Josh.
Of course, I've recently voiced some concerns with Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel and why I'm taking a break from that at the moment. And I was pretty hyped to get into more TCG content and play more TCG myself. But I'm not going to pretend like the TCG is some magical wonderland without any problems or any issues. So I'm here today to talk about that. And maybe that's also why I was very disappointed, especially this weekend from YCS Anaheim, because I was looking forward to the TCG so much, because it was going to be my escape from Master Duel, and because I was actually a big fan of this format going into it. You know, like the pure Draco Tail, pure Yami, pure Mitsurugi 3-way format, like, was actually looking pretty nice for me, and I had a great time at YCS Lille last week. But it feels like I was watching an entirely different format at YCS Anaheim, because all those quote-unquote fair decks, it felt like they didn't exist, or even worse, they existed, but they got completely clapped up by broken floodgates and broken combo decks, and it's a problem. And I want to talk about a little bit why I think that is. So we're going to start chronologically. We're going to start in the finals, because that is the match that has the most eyes on it in a tournament, and we're going to get into some other examples too. But for YCS Anaheim, let me set the stage for you here, okay?
Wait, I didn't know that Kamal main deck the Mjolnir. That's cancer. All right, great.
YCS Anaheim Finals is between Kamal Crooks and Cameron Neal, two of the most accomplished Yu-Gi-Oh! Players of all time, who are both capable of playing some of the best Yu-Gi-Oh! you will probably ever witness. Instead, what we get in the finals is the following thing. Kamal wins the dice roll, makes this board through 2 hand traps, because he self-rolls away the Fuva, and then is still able to make this board under his own roll through the opponent's Ghost Bell on top of that. Locking Cameron Neal completely out of playing the game in game 1, which results in Cameron Neal, even though the finals is untimed, so they have no incentive to scoop early, to just pack up his cards immediately once he draws for turn. So not a single card was played on Cameron's turn in this game. It's an Omni Negate through Cyber Dragon Infinity. It's a Ripper Hand Trap Negate. It's Tristaros. And there's an Artifact Mjolnir, which, for those of you that don't know what this card does, you summon it to your opponent's side of the field during your turn using Imperial Princess Kunkri, and it locks the opponent out from special summoning anything but artifacts for 2 turns.
So I want to touch on this real quick. I don't know if Josh will bring this up later, but I think Artifact Mjolnir is not the problem. And before you raise your pitchforks, I think the problem is this card, Queen Curry. Because anything that gives your opponent a monster is typically a recipe for disasters, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards were not designed with that sort of facet in mind, and there are way too many cards that could be abused, and so not future-proof for those cards to exist. I think Sanctifier should be banned. Thankfully, it does not work with Mjolnir, but regardless, I think Those type of cards just should not exist. And Quinckery is a prime example of that. And Mjolnir is not a good card, but it would not be playable without Quinckery. So why not both? Because the Mjolnir doesn't do anything. I think Quinckery is a recipe for disaster, and it should just be gone. Quinckery was same set as Sanctifier. Sack really fucked up. I mean, it's probably like people designing the set got inspiration from Sanctifier or Quinckery to do the other one. Quinckery is fine. There's no print cards with mandatory and archetype blocks. Nope. Giving your opponent monsters, I'm biggest hater of. So the thing is with like Lava Golem type stuff and Mimighouls, those are still a dangerous precedent, but at least they require significantly more setup to make work. And maybe you can only use Geonator transfer, so needs to also be banned to stop this from being out of control. But I think just the giving your opponent stuff is not a good recipe for Yu-Gi-Oh! And we can see here that obviously this is an awesome game.
So Cam unable to play the game in game 1. Sure, we go to game 2. Game 2, Cam makes this board, which is basically the full Mitsurugi board and the full Yami board in one deck through an Izuna, which causes Kamal to draw his card for turn and pack up his cards and scoop. 0 cards played on turn 2 once again. Game 3, Kamal goes first. Same thing. Starts comboing. At this point, Cam doesn't even get a turn in this match because Cam uses a hand trap, gets called by the grave, knows what's coming, packs up his cards and leaves. The finals of this YCS was 3 turns. 0 cards were played on turn 2.
That's a pretty bad statistic. Yeah, wow, this was a terrible finals match. That's yeah.
And 2 of the best players in the game basically didn't play any Yu-Gi-Oh with each other, which was pretty frustrating. I was pretty disappointed at this point. Of course, I was watching this live. It was also 4 a.m. in the morning for me, so I decided to just go to bed, wake up, and see how I feel about it. But I still feel pretty bad about it. And I think we're gonna start a discussion here on floodgates, broken combos, and I think it all falls under one category, which is non-games in Yu-Gi-Oh! And when I say non-games, this is what I mean. I mean a game basically not happening because one of the players does not have a chance from the beginning. Like, it is not worth playing this game for Cameron Neal. He does not need to be there. He does not need to be part of game 1 and game 3 here. This might as well be a combo tutorial on YouTube by Kamal, where he just shows the cool combo he's found with Chris Strong K9. Or, I mean, he probably hasn't found it, but it's been around for a while now. And I don't know. Of course, this is subjective, but I don't think I'm in the minority here when I say I don't think this is good Yu-Gi-Oh! I do not feel like this is enjoyable to...
Yeah, I obviously...
to watch. I also don't think it's enjoyable to play this type of Yu-Gi-Oh! Especially if you're on the losing side. But even on the winning side, I feel like it feels kind of dull to do this. It feels like playing solitaire. And I probably wouldn't be making this video if this was the only instance of this happening, you know? Because maybe, like, I don't know, Kamal got lucky and Cam got unlucky, and it's just like non-games happen in card games sometimes. You know, sometimes you just draw a very good hand or a very bad hand, or you just happen to have all the answers or whatever. You know, a Yu-Gi-Oh! Game being a non-game occasionally is fine. But this weekend, the coverage was full of it. Like, and it's not just broken combos and locks. It was everything. It was floodgates in every shape and form. You know, like we see. I just want to go through some examples. I brought up some examples from the YCS coverage. Once again, we see the Yami Mitsurugi deck, which is another topic I wanted to get into, is how Yami and Mitsurugi individually, I think, are pretty fine archetypes. But when, for some reason, they work together and make both boards at the same time, which is ludicrous in my opinion, which just teaches us a lesson about archetype design and archetypes needing proper locks. And I want to reiterate something, because a lot of people, we've seen a lot of Mitsurugi hybrids popping up, especially in recent weeks. And I want to say that I think both things can be true. On the one hand, these inventions, these deck lists, like the Triff list that he won the YCS with, or the Jeff Jones list that he played at this YCS, where he combined K9 with Mitsurugi because he found a bridge how K9 Noroi can be a starter for Mitsurugi, and basically you do the full K9 combo, including Ripper, and then you get the Mitsurugi combo on top of that. These innovations, these deck building, this is crazy impressive. These are impressive creations. The Triff deck is also very impressive. Finding those...
It's cool, yeah. I mean, you can have cool decks, and also, like, I don't think your deck should be entirely restrictive, right? Because then it becomes like other games where deck building means less, and you definitely want creativity. But I understand the point. I do understand the point though, because obviously when things compound too much, it can be a bit over the top.
Finding those synergies between the Nouvelle cards and the Mitsurugi cards and the Yami cards is nice. That is cool. That is an interesting part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck building for sure. But the gameplay it provides is not interesting because you make these boards and you won the game. Congratulations. And it's not just these combo decks. It's also, I mean, this exact match, literally fast forward a couple minutes. This is the board that Mitsurugi made. Going first. We activate Dimensional Fissure. We search Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo with Gallant Granite. We normal summon it. And we have an Omni Negate trap for the Lightning Storm.
With D-Fissure.
I think this is a problem. And I think it's been a problem for a long time. And I'm honestly getting frustrated with the like, what's it called? Just their unwillingness to do anything about this. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been pretty vocal about my my dislike of some recent archetype designs, especially in 2024. But a badly designed archetype does not typically discourage me from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because archetypes come and go. You know, like, sure, they made Snake Eyes. I didn't like the format, but Snake Eyes is gone now. And that's always what happens, of course, because new archetypes get printed. They want us to play the new archetypes. So eventually the old archetypes get hit. That is natural in Yu-Gi-Oh! So a couple bad archetypes don't get me personally discouraged, because I know, or at least I usually believe in the fact that, you know, better times will come. You know, you don't like this certain archetype right now, there's going to be better archetypes in the future, which is true at the moment. I think 2025 archetype design, for the most part, is pretty nice. You know, I like the Justice Hunters archetypes, except for the fact that Ripper is just promoting hand trap negates in combos. But, like, you know, I'm a fan of pure Mitsurugi. I like pure Yami.
Yeah, that one's a weird. I wish, like, Ripper... Maybe it would be opponent's turn only in the gate. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be good enough then, but it's whatever.
I love Draco Tail. Like, the archetypes in 2025 are cool. But what's the point of having fair archetypes when the decks that are winning are the decks that are doing this? And even the fair archetypes, quote unquote, are not designed carefully enough. So they have synergies with, like, you know, searchable Fossil Dyna, and they can slap Dimensional Fissure and everything because that card is legal. And I don't know, man. And it's not even just the top meta decks. And it's not just a few examples. I have a couple prepared. You strap in. Top 8 of this YCS. Alex Bergeron against Steven Trifonowski. Once again, two players probably capable of producing some very, very high quality Yu-Gi-Oh! What happens? Alex wins the dice roll, goes first with Onomat Ryzeal, a rogue deck, mind you, pretty much, tier 2, basically. Goes first, uninterrupted, 4 Material Detonator Eclipse Twins attached, Ryzeal trap face down, Ryzeal cross up on the board, which is already a respectable pure Ryzeal board. You might think that's really strong. But that's not it. We've also hand looped 2 cards with Evil Swarm Ouroboros. That's why 2 cards are in Trift's graveyard here. And we've also searched Arch Nemesis Protoss, a card that lets you declare any attribute, basically, and your opponent is unable to use that attribute. So we...
Josh has, like, this whole PowerPoint lecture already, complaining. I respect it, though. So far, he hasn't really missed a beat. It's all, like, stuff I agree with. To be fair, I've complained about lingering floodgates since, like, my first YouTube videos, so yeah.
We, on top of that, also have a hand trip for 2 and a floodgate and a full Ryzeal board. Game 2, Triff goes first and wins the game off of the back of 2 dimensional barriers over the course of multiple turns. It's hard to convey this in one screenshot, and I didn't want to watch through the entire thing, but double dimensional barrier essentially lets
barrier fun.
Triff beat cards like Droll and Lockbird in this game too. But we saw very little actual gameplay from this. We saw a Yami combo on turn 1 under Droll that got met with an evenly matched, and what could have been an interesting game maybe after was met with double D barrier into top deck Kabakiri, and then the Mitsurugi combo finished the game. And then game 3, same story. Goes first, double hand rip with Ouroboros, puts up Protoss, puts up Cross, puts up an Omni Negate counter trap for Onomat that we also searched for going first. And Triff tries to play into it because there's no timer, and it might as well try because it's the last match or the last game of your tournament if you lose, but there was no real Yu-Gi-Oh! Being played. He just activated a couple of cards, got them all negated, or they didn't matter because he was under Protoss and then lost. And it's pretty disheartening, honestly. And we also saw, for example, reigning world champion Julian Quejon, round 3 feature match, plays against pure Mitsurugi. So I'm like, okay, Mitsurugi against Draco Tail, that's a pretty hype matchup. We got a pretty good game 1 here, admittedly, and that's another topic because most of these things, not all of them, but a lot of these things are happening post-side, which is why I feel like the side deck as a concept should probably be reevaluated as well, because let's be real here, the side deck is a cool concept, but people are just using it to side deck the most crazy auto wins in the game, because why wouldn't they? Let's be real. Let's not hate the players for playing these cards, okay? Like, if I can activate Dimensional Barrier to just completely win a game, why wouldn't I? So we see Julian going first in game 2, gets hit with a Dimension Shifter, can't play the game. So what do you do if you can't play the game? Yeah, right. You set a Dimensional Barrier and make it so that your opponent can't play the game, and then win the turn after, because now you're basically going first with the battle phase. And then game 3, Hanzi here on Mitsurugi activates Dimensional Fissure, doesn't have a play next to it even, but the Dimensional Fissure eventually is enough to win him the game. And Julian doesn't matter. Like the reigning champion, you lose to Dimensional Fissure Pass because it doesn't matter who you are and how good you are. When your deck loses to Dimensional Fissure, you are not able to play the game. You can't show us how good you are at playing the game because you are not allowed to play the game. And the funniest in quotation marks, is what happened right after this feature match. I'm gonna show you what happened. So they go back to the casters after the winners interview, and then this happens. There's a backup feature, by the way.
We have our bonus feature match going on right now, so we're going to jump into some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Action. So let's just jump right into it. It looks like we are in game number 3. We have Tamir taking on Jesse, and Tamir's playing a deck that you're a pretty big fan of.
Spoilers. Tamir won this game. Different dimension ground. Another entry into the dimension family, you know, within the span of 10.
I did say on video this weekend that I hate all the dimension cards. Oh man. I'm glad you're showing examples because now this is like good. I can actually follow along with the story. This is pretty funny.
In 15 minutes, we saw multiple games decided, multiple turns being skipped by the entire array of dimension cards. You know, Dimension Shifter was used to skip Julian's first turn. Skip the turn right back with Dimensional Barrier. Won game 3 off of the back of Dimensional Fissure. Backup feature match. Looks like an interesting board state. Immediately 2 seconds into the match, a different dimension ground is flipped. The game ends. And this was really, for me, overshadowing all of the good Yu-Gi-Oh! That can be played in this current format. And was played at this YCS. There probably was a lot of good Yu-Gi-Oh! Being played at the YCS, but the majority of the things that we saw were this. And I was very disappointed because I had high hopes in this format. I was and still am a big fan of some of the recent ban list decisions that they've made. But the problem is that it doesn't matter how good you handle certain archetypes or how well you address certain problems if you leave these problems completely unaddressed. And I don't know how many ban list predictions, how many ban list wish lists in a row now I've mentioned cards like Dimensional Barrier. And it's just not happening. And look, cards like Dimension Shifter, there can be only one. Rivalry of the Warlords, all of those cards limited at 1 at the moment are pretty frustrating. And I still don't understand why they're at 1. But them being at 1 at least means we don't see them very often. You know, every once in a while, a Dimension Shifter pops up on stream. And I'm like...
Unless you're me and get shifted twice in one match.
Why is this legal? But I guess a Rivalry pops up, same thing or whatever. But at the moment, we're in a format where Dimensional Barrier basically hits every single deck that's playable. And so everybody feels like everyone is playing 3 Barrier and 3 Thrust. So it feels almost like there's more games being played under Floodgates post side right now than without Floodgates, I'm pretty sure. Like it's actually insane. And the thing that makes it so weird to me is because I cannot think of a reason. I don't know why. Like, because typically whenever I have discussions like this, you know, people throw arguments out there like, oh, corporate greed or whatever, they just want your money. Why is this is not making them money? This is making the game unattractive to play. People that already play Yu-Gi-Oh! Are frustrated by this. At least, I mean, I don't want to speak for every single person in the community, but I feel like the overwhelming majority would like those cards to be gone because we want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And these cards don't let us play Yu-Gi-Oh! But, like, which archetype is selling because Dimensional Barrier is legal? Which archetype is selling because Dimensional Fissure is legal and whatnot? Like, it feels like for every archetype, if you can name a synergy with a Floodgate, you can name 5 Floodgates that kills it. Like, it's just not fun. And then, this does not... Like, I personally... Look, I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For 20 years, but I cannot imagine anyone who isn't into Yu-Gi-Oh! At the moment watching this YCS, game 1 finals, you know, you don't know much about Yu-Gi-Oh! You watch this, you see the player going first doing Solitaire for some time, player going second scoops, other way around, Cameron does some Solitaire, Kamal scoops, Kamal does some Solitaire and Cameron scoops. Who wants to play Yu-Gi-Oh! After this if you're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Already? Who's picking up the game after seeing this? I don't know. Maybe a few people, but I feel like it could be so much more if they actually played interesting Yu-Gi-Oh! Like if you understand what's going on here, you know this is pretty bad. And if you don't understand what's going on here, I feel like the majority of people would also think this is pretty bad. Because it is very clear here that the player going second has no control in this game whatsoever, no say in the outcome of this game whatsoever. I don't know, I just needed to vent about it.
I've always been like a kind of pusher for the number of turns don't matter, but the amount of interaction does. So what that means is if the game only lasts 3 turns total, that's fine. As long as people are interacting throughout those 3 turns constantly. And that'll reflect in some more conversations I imagine we'll have as Josh, I assume, says his solutions. Because I can't imagine he just presents the problem and dips. There's still 5 minutes in the video. And then I'll engage with that.
that. I wanted to put my frustration out there, and I just want you guys to understand that this is coming from a place of love for this game. I feel very passionate about this because I just recently, you know, I'm taking a break from Master Duel right now because I felt like the TCG is so much better, has so much more potential, and I stand by that. The TCG is at the moment still a better format than Master Duel. This is not the full picture, of course. There is a lot of games where people play pure Draco Tail, pure Mitsurugi, pure Yami that are pretty fun when those cards aren't involved, but it could be so much better. Like, why do I have to deal with this being a thing when we could have more good games? You know, why is it only a certain percentage of games that are good? Why can't we maximize that number by getting rid of these cards? And it's like, first of all, I also want to say that I don't want to take away from Kamal's YCS win, 6th YCS win here, by the way, which is crazy. Incredible achievement, but I felt pretty bad that after the finals was done, I didn't really feel anything but disappointment in this format. Like, it could have been such a good match of Yu-Gi-Oh, but it was this. And I don't know, like, it's not like they don't know these cards aren't the problem. If you look at Genesis format, by the way, which, by the way, banger Genesis feature matches over the course of the weekend. Genesis is looking mighty fine, especially in comparison right now. Dimensional Barrier is 100 points in Genesis format. Weird. Protoss, 100 points in Genesis format as well. You name it. A lot of more niche floodgates are 100 points in Genesis format. You know, even Eschatos is on here. It's almost like they understand. Someone somewhere knows that these cards don't provide fun gameplay, but somehow they're legal.
They've known this. They banned them in Master Duel events. When I had to do like the content creator event, they banned them for that event. They know it's a problem. I don't understand. They're not idiots. At least not. Maybe they are, but not in that regard. I don't know.
TCG and searchable for the most part. You know, Protoss super easily accessible. The artifact lock super easily accessible. Dimensional Barrier is at 3, and you have 3 copies of Thrust to punish people for hand trapping you, for trying to interact with you. How dare you stop my combo? I'm gonna Thrust for a D-Barrier real quick to make sure you can't play. It's rough. It's honestly rough. I felt pretty discouraged this morning when I woke up after this weekend, because I'm thinking, like, we have YCS Bologna in 6 weeks. No major changes to the format. People are already throwing words like emergency.
Yeah, this is gonna be rough. Whenever a format lasts this long and there's this many events in one tight space, it gets kind of stale, because sometimes it's only 2 or 3 months, but we have one of those weird pockets where there's Lima, Lille, Anaheim, Brazil, then Pittsburgh, then Mexico, or then Bologna, then Mexico, all within the span of like 2 months. And then Moto YCS as well. So there's like 8 YCSs in 2 months. So it actually will be pretty intensive. And shit will get stale. Because it's not really a new product either. Nothing good, at least, either.
Emergency ban list through.
What's good, Emra? How you doing? Do I have any more VIPs to VIP Emery? Let's take a look. There you go. Emery's now VIP. Got a clue. Thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate you. All right. 360 packs. Let's get this number higher and higher. Okay. Shit. What was it saying? No, the format will be stale regardless, but it feels stale already, which is a little scary. Although I do think my experience was not as bad as what happened here. But that's largely in part to, again, looking at my deck list. I played very few of these floodgates. The only ones were the hand trap ones. So by all means, I was engaging in fair Yu-Gi-Oh! So if games ended in floods, it was usually due to my opponent.
I thought that Jesse was cooked.
Thank you again, Get a Clue. Appreciate you.
I thought that Jesse was cooked.
Oh wait, Phantom, I gave out 5 more. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys so much. 430 packs now tomorrow.
Cooked.
That is a lot. 43,000 gems. It's not a crazy amount. The most we've done is 1,500 packs. So we're still far away from that. But yeah. People who played unfair Yu-Gi-Oh! One. So yes, like, I didn't do insane this event, but I wasn't like that far off. I got 22nd. I was 1 loss away from top 8.
I thought that Jesse was cooked.
And I did fine. I did not lose going first, except for once where I made a mistake. And when I got shifted. So, and I fucking Vanquish Soul. Barry wouldn't help me. Why would you not play unfair? Because I felt like I didn't need it. Did you tell Legend the only fair deck in the format? Yeah, it feels that way, yeah. Did your play experience reflect streaming experience? That's what I'm saying, it did not. There were some games that, of course, were bad, but most of them weren't. But it's also partially because my deck, in my perspective, doesn't advocate for it. I mean, I did explain why I don't need it. That is literally it. This deck doesn't need those cards. I don't think this deck should be playing those cards. It's also why I think it's the most healthy deck right now. But there are some solutions, some ideas. I imagine Josh will bring up some of them, so I'll converse with it. But let's finish this up for now.
Through the room, which I mean, I feel like it would be very welcome, but I don't know how likely it is. And I just wanted to voice my concerns because I think this is pretty discouraging because this is not related to many of the archetypes. It's mostly related to like people have been asking for Dimensional Barrier to be banned since 2017.
Yeah,
that's 8 years and nothing's happened. We continuously voice concerns about these cards, and I don't want to say nothing happens because some of these cards were hit, but it feels like they're just not being harsh.
Shifter gets hit and you still get fucking double shifted. Like, yeah. You don't think you have solutions in this video? Okay, so I'm going to let it play out then, and then we'll discuss it more afterwards because I do have points to add on.
Enough on these cards because there's always something
on banning Protos death. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not Konami. I don't even want to tell you. Like, I don't know what happened there.
To replace these cards, some of these cards only go to 1. Some of these cards are banned way too late. And it's weird. It's weird to me that basically we're just playing turn skip and FTKs. What felt like at this YCS like 50% of the time. I'm repeating myself at this point. But I'm very passionate about this topic because I want to play the TCG so much. But right now, I'm questioning whether this is going to change because I'm realizing this has been a thing for a long time now, besides the archetypes, you know, like we can discuss whether Mitsurugi should have had better locks, which yes, it should have. Like Mitsurugi plus Yami in terms of gameplay should not go together. These two decks are fine individually, but when you mash them together, they're too powerful. So that's something they need to take better care of in the future. But this is something you can handle with archetype design. Just like, okay, this was messed up. Mitsurugi should have had a reptile lock or something, but just design better archetypes in the future. All right, you know, these are, like I said earlier, archetypes come and go. But the philosophy behind not handling floodgates and searchable locks and crazy combos properly, pretty frustrating. Pretty frustrating. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that just felt like a whole lot of Genesis advertisement over the course of the weekend because Genesis is looking mighty fine in comparison to this. And I don't know if it's just me growing out of modern Yu-Gi-Oh over time, but it was pretty discouraging because I was very hyped to get back into it. And right now I'm questioning whether Genesis might be a better place for me. But anyways, let me know what you think.
Josh sounds like a boomer saying that, but yeah, obviously he's frustrated for good reason.
The negative tone, but once again, coming from a place of love for the game, and I would love for the game to be played. And once again, I want to congratulate Kamal on the 6th YCS win. Insane performance. And I'm sorry that this format dynamic is overshadowing this win. At least for me personally, it's overshadowing it a little bit, but definitely a deserving winner regardless of this. And also for Cam for making it to the finals. 2 amazing players in the finals. I wish we could have seen you guys play some awesome Yu-Gi-Oh! But once again, it's not their fault. Don't hate the player. Criticize the game instead. And hope...
Okay, so we kind of touched upon some solutions here and some ways of approaching this dynamic because I think this is a problem for sure, and it's not new either. I've advocated for stuff like this a lot. With lingering floodgates being a key sort of offender in creating this issue. Other floodgates or overly intense negates also create this problem just because they're too much to handle, to the point that they become sort of like a floodgate, or too much removal can be there too, where sometimes Detonator is so oppressive that it feels like resolving or something or playing into Detonator feels like playing into a floodgate where anything you put into the field just dies. Charming's also linked to floodgates? Yes. So it seems that one of their approaches to beating these combo decks was to create lingering floodgates for tempo, but I don't think it's a huge thing for me. What lingering floodgates do, for the most part, is they create a tempo skip, which in modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, like with Anti-Spell Fragrance, wasn't that big of a deal because one turn of tempo was easily recoverable. And there were other ways to mitigate it, and you didn't automatically lose the game when you got hit with a card like Deep Barrier. Even when it first came out, obviously it was good, but it wasn't as crazy as it is now. now Karn's powerful enough that if you buy a 1 turn to tempo, like I remembered briefly before, it's not about the number of turns, but the number of interactions. But if we are under the kind of accepted offer that Yu-Gi-Oh is now not that many turns, that tempo is literally everything. So you need to find other ways of making up the interactions. So how do we fix that, right? And one of the solutions is something that I thought Konami was doing. And as part of the reason we liked the format a month ago, and I mean, I've said this already, and it is divisive, but I've been a strong kind of pusher for this concept, and that is turn 0 plays. I liked Tier for that. I like Femena. I like Vanquish Soul. I like Azuna. I think being able to play during both players' turns increases the amount of interaction that exists within Yu-Gi-Oh! And I like that concept a lot. And it feels weird that Konami kind of pushed out VS, that was one of the decks that did that, because it reopened this sort of floodgate for this to happen, right? Because these type of decks would do way worse into Vanquish Soul. And that's part of the interesting thing, right? Because when your entire game plan is to skip 1 turn for tempo, if they're playing on every turn, including yours, skipping their turn is not the biggest deal. So investing all these resources into it is either too fragile now because they have more interactions, or not worth it. I think that is a pretty fair way to curb the power of these lingering floods, because it kind of returns Yu-Gi-Oh to the state of before, where skipping 1 turns with a tempo is not the end of the game immediately. You know? So that is one solution, and it's one that I think I push for the most, because I just like that way of playing Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't want to sit and watch opponent combo, even if it is a format in which I can try break the field. I'm not a fan of sitting for 10 minutes and watching my opponent play, regardless. And you can still have good matches, but I think it's overall better when both players are constantly playing. VSK9 Necessary Evil, it doesn't have to be VSK9. I'm more talking about that design mechanic, right? And Killatune also has one of these effects. I'd like some more generic hand traps that play along this type of dynamic, like Azuna does. And then, because removal and hand traps is so rare as well, and it makes it a very single dimensional. I want multi-dimensional interaction. Otherwise, it becomes too easy to navigate around, and too easy to exploit. Killatune's also a floodgate to any other level deck. It's so weird. Yeah, I know, but it's good and evil parts to it. That's another discussion I don't want to delve too deep into, but I think Ripper's problem is that it's being used to insulate combos from hand traps. I think you going second with Ripper's fine. Gamma to 3. I'd love Gamma to 3. So I think that is a solution, and one that I thought we were going in the direction of, and they still might, but it does feel a little weird with the way this list was approached. And I think they hit a little too aggressive with VS, and I understand hitting it, but I think like stake to 1 or even banned might have been all you want to do, because leave the fire count intact so it doesn't fucking brick on itself, even when you have Holisu, and then just give it a little less extension. And maybe you call it a day there, and that would have been better, right? And Vanquish Soul is not unplayable. We saw it still do decently in both all 3 of the tournaments, and it's despite its representation being lower. So I don't think VSK9 is just like completely out of the question. But yeah, I don't know. I think that is one of the approaches here. Now, there is 2 other things that are worth talking about, or 3 other things. One of them I don't think is a great solution, is what Josh is talking about, and this is archetypal locks. So I think outside of like end board pieces, I don't need archetypes to have crazy locks, because the thing is, when archetypes become very isolated and can only be used within their intended sort of theme, you get this sort of or the xenophobic deck, right? That's doesn't really reward innovation, doesn't allow creativity, and it's inflexible in terms of the ways of building it. I dislike that. I mean, that should be pretty obvious from the way you've seen me play Yu-Gi-Oh! So tier type of decks, Gem Knight combos, Beansmith stuff. I like that. I like mixing all my bullshit together and building a deck. I think that archetype locks can exist in some degree for maybe the most broken cards in the deck, or for boss cards, because that's how you make these crazy fields when you combine boss monsters together. But when engines work in tandem to work together through fields and stuff, I'm cool with that. So I don't. It's they being more mindful with it, sure, but I don't know if I'd rush to say that those are the problems yet. Generic searchers might open up the road a little too much because like Broad Bolt, Ephemeral Imps, Gallon Granite, because Granite's now one of the offenders here, are ones that make them too accessible. Like I like when there's niche ways to bridge stuff together and you actually rely on synergies. But like Moon or Granite, probably Banshee as well, yeah. Maybe too all encompassing, right? And those cards will only kind of grow in power as card pools expand. And when I was investing in cards back in the day, those are the type of cards I'd buy because I knew one day they'd be meta, including Gallon Granite. I had a lot of Gallon Granite, so I'm like, one day this card will just be insane. And between Block Dragon and Dyna and Nibiru searching, like Granite has become a good card. And that is still despite rocks really not being that supported. But yeah, I think not to necessarily think locks shouldn't exist. I just think that they need to be careful with them because otherwise Yu-Gi-Oh loses part of the individuality it has, and that it allows more creative, flexible deck building, much more so than other games. And that is an element of the game that I want it to keep in its identity. So this shouldn't be a core sort of approach to tackling this issue. The other two things, one of them is just banning them all. There are a lot of them, and it is hard to do that. And you may have to keep patching things up as we find new ones. But yeah, I mean, it's easy. I feel like this should be obvious. I don't. This is what the balance is supposed to exist for, and I do think that the balance should be a little more aggressive. I understand it feels bad to have a long ban list, like it can be confusing, especially with like the Genesis list looking really long. It needs to be handled a little better because, yeah, I don't know. The cards existing is still a problem. Is it hard to find them? They didn't find them in Genesis. So honestly, it's not that bad, but I do understand the perspective that it's daunting for a new player. See this list of hundreds and hundreds of cards that are banned, and it is confusing, and it can be a bit overwhelming. But I overall think you really do need to still do something about it. And then the final approach, which is one that Josh mentioned briefly, and it's actually an interesting discussion that's been popped up several times on social media, and I don't know if I've engaged in it properly. And that is, we need to assess a side deck. Does it still have a place in modern Yu-Gi-Oh? And the reason behind asking that question is because the side deck is often where you'll find most of these toxic cards, because a lot of the cards are not good at either going first or second, and you have to make a choice. And then oftentimes you're playing these tempo cards to cancel out your opponent's tempo cards. So maybe if they're not going to ban all these cards, or even if they do, maybe they should do this, you can argue maybe a side deck is now out of its purpose and is only created for evil, or find some other rules as a way to balance them. Maybe there isn't. Maybe someone could think of something creative that fixes that problem. But the side deck, for the most part, has not been a tool for good. I think is a pretty accurate statement. And what this means is it ends up a little more like Master Duel, and deck building has to be a little more toolbox related. You may have to make some concessions and choices. This can increase the matchup volatility. It also means cards that are strongly going first are less likely to be played. There will be some maybe that are still played, but for the most part, they're not crazy. Yeah, I don't know. They're not insane. What if we shrink it? I don't know if it's enough, though, is the thing. Still wouldn't like best of one. I like best of three because it means that one game of unluckiness or breaking I can overcome, especially in not playing hundreds of games, nor do I want that to become duelist cup level formats. So I still want to maintain best of three's identity, but I don't mind getting rid of a side deck. Getting rid of a side deck also makes it easier for the time restrictions, because now that's I'm going to say 4 minutes worth of gameplay that's now saved for actual gameplay, which is nice. And yeah, I don't mind it as a concept. Obviously, this is not something I play tested. I'm curious how other people feel like that as well, but no side deck might be an actual legitimate master rule update to bring into Yu-Gi-Oh! A small extra deck as well would be nice. I don't know about that one because it does, and it could impact you in a way, but it's also very easy for card design to kind of circumvent around and kind of make that new rule worthless again, while also making a lot of fun things terrible. So that's not good either. In order to play no side deck, you should buff going second. Well, you have to make your main deck more capable for going second, which might mean making some deck building concessions going first, which also makes going first less strong, right? So in theory, you reach an equilibrium point where it's more balanced. You could add another buff though, right? You could say, so one thing that we've talked about, or I've seen talked about as like another addendum to the master rule, is neither player draws on their first turn, but going first you draw 5, going second you draw 6. So that means is you have an extra card to see a hand trap, and you get to more accurately make your decisions. It removes some skill in that you don't play around top decks, which is an important part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Playing against and with into making decisions, but it does mean that there's more control over the game state in theory. So that was one that could be done. Yeah. For chat mentioned 2 decks kind of like Worlds might be interesting. I feel like it'd be too complicated. I don't know about this. Only the other person going second to side deck. But the problem with that is you can choose to go second, right? Gotta get rid of stuff like Noroi and Talents if we have that rule. Sure. I think looking at the hand is also a terrible mechanic. No side deck with Mulligan. Mulligan, I don't like that, but I don't know, maybe. What if you could only after game 1, but not game 2? I don't know. It's, yeah, there's like small other patches you can make to try and fix up the balance. That would, honestly, I think all of that would be a little nitpicky in the sense of it may swing depending on format to format, which is kind of what we want to avoid. But also, you probably need to play test it. So I think any conjecture around it is not going to be that fruitful. But sure, some sort of additional addendum that, in addition to no side deck, or akin to that, to help going second. Maybe that's an answer. That could be real. The one that I want to see first and foremost, surprisingly, it's not a balanced because maybe I'm a cynic and I've given up on it. But the one I feel like can happen and should happen is really leaning more into playing on both players' turns. I think we should both be engaged at all times. This is not your turn, it's our turn. It's our game. We're dueling together. We are woven together into the fabric of the Duel Monsters realm, and we will duke it out with all of our strong, glorious monsters. All right, yeah. I mean, that is what I want, but obviously, that one, I know not everybody's on the same page, and that will drive away some people from Yu-Gi-Oh. But I think it is overall better for Yu-Gi-Oh's long-term health if that's the direction we take it. A lot of Izuna Sufa meta haters. Yeah, I know. I know that statement is not one of pure support. But I don't have much better solutions. Time to unlimit Havness. Havness is not a broken card. Havness's power lies within its ability to fuse, not its hand trap effect. Hand trap effect is fucking ass. And I think most of the people who used it on their turn 1 were misplaying. I held it for my turn most of the time. Even in Master Duel, you'll see me do that. I won't use it. You think 90% of the issue is players getting a turn during their opponent's turn? Yeah, so you're in complete opposite sort of opinion as me, which you are allowed to have, but I think it is one of the best ways to invalidate all the tempo skip, or the tempo skips that exist within Yu-Gi-Oh right now. play K9 and the fact you can summon 3 monsters and use their effects in your opponent's turn is horseshit. Why? Like, break down the heuristics in your mind. Why is that horseshit? They can do the same thing to you. I don't want to sit and watch my opponent take a turn and then me take a turn. I'm not playing that type of board game. I'm not playing Pokemon. And I mean, I enjoy playing those games from time to time, don't get me wrong, but within Yu-Gi-Oh, I want there to be constant interaction choices made between the players. And I think that encourages that. Yeah. Let me get music back on. Any other kind of opinions in the discussion before we wrap it up? The thing is, the game has gone too far, and a lot of it you can't put back in the box. It's fine. How come hand traps are ineffective currently? Why do we need stronger effects like K9? Because combo cards are getting stronger, which is natural with power creep and with the rotation. You just need both sides of the arms race to increase in power. It is, at the end of the day, an arms race. And if Konami doesn't do a good job of making sure they stay equivalent, then the game falls out of balance and we get shit. Bum, bum, bum. We go. Like One Piece. Yeah. All right. Well, I think Josh does have fair criticism here. I obviously didn't show all the feature matches. You guys can testify how bad or good they are. Again, I didn't get a chance to watch them, but the examples he gave were bad. They were not interesting. But having not played any of the Floodgates myself, I had a lot of interesting games. There were some that ended badly in these cancerous results. But for the most part, I actually had a good tournament experience. So it definitely exists out there. And there are solutions to make the problem better. So while I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh's in dire consequences right now, dire straits, it's not tip-top condition either. I think Yu-Gi-Oh right now is in a meh format. It's diverse with a lot of non-games. There are turn skips, but there's also plenty of good stuff too. It reminds me of fall of 2023. It can be diverse as well. The format's fine. I think there are bad aspects to it for sure, and you maybe I'm lucky with the feature matches being bad, but there are also good games for sure as well. And maybe I am being kind of like too chill and being okay with Yu-Gi-Oh not being better. But to me, this is a fine Yu-Gi-Oh format, just not the worst or the best. I guess this also comes at a direct contrast to me playing Malice for infinite hours in Master Duel, and I think that is the deepest depths of hell by comparison. So, we're in purgatory in Master Duel, or in TCG, but we're in straight up pits of Tartarus for Master Duel right now. Maybe one day we'll have 2 good formats side by side, and Genesis, and we'll have 3 formats, and Yu-Gi-Oh will be in the golden years, the Pax Romana. One day! Tears the platonic ideal Yu-Gi-Oh, but it was 2 years too early. The thing with Tears, it was too strong. So, because games were so always the mirror, it did get boring quickly. I love Tier, but I could also get tired of it. It was also a little too involved and in depth, so it was even more tiring than like a VS mirror. And I had its time. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it also should never have had a long shelf life. So it's fine that it was gone so quickly. I don't hate that. Shrift tweeted that it ain't that bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't share exact same sentiments. The format was okay. It's not. This isn't a format I'm gonna sit down and remember with like rose-tinted glasses and say, wow, this was the best format I've ever played in my life. Let's go play it again. Let's play time travel. No. But I'm going to sit here and dread it the way I have Malice. No, not that either. For now, we focus on Genesis. I enjoyed myself with the YCS this weekend. We'll see, in my opinion, change with Brazil. Because with every YCS, the meta shifts too, right? And we saw the success here did lie with a lot of these FTK style decks. So if that is further kind of pushed as the next event happens, and we get cemented in the meta, then maybe my opinions will shift further and further away from healthiness into the realm of hate. But for the time being. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up there in terms of the Josh Reacts. For those of you who have come in the last little bit, we are doing a whaling stream tomorrow. So there's a couple things we're gonna do. The new Mitsurugi pack comes out, as well as there's a reprint pack in Master Duel. When you sub today or tomorrow, you would directly add more packs to the counter that'll be opening in whaling. And for one sub, you get 10 extra packs. And every 5 subs is an extra 10 again. So I'm still losing money. But this way, it's a little bit more financially feasible for me. So hopefully we can whale together and have some fun. I know you guys love it, but I need a little bit of help with it. Anyways, after that, when we're done the whaling stream tomorrow, we're going to be hosting a duel room where I'm going to be allowing all you guys to play, or as many as that can fit in the room, with new decks only. Thank you for the subs, Codename.
Was cooked.
Yeah, you guys can all play, and then I will be deciding who has the coolest deck, as well as who does the best. And within both of those categories, I will be giving out a Steam gift card. Let's say $25.
I thought that Jesse was cooked.
To each of those people, whoever I decide is the coolest deck, and whoever has the best score. And they have to use new cards.
I thought that Jesse was cooked.
So, yeah, make sure you guys come by tomorrow. It'll be a fun stream, as well as support. So thank you, Codename. Let me add this 60 packs right now. So we're at 490, 49,000 gems. It's a lot, but we've done more. We've done 100,000. We've done 150,000. I wanted to break that number, but I see that's not happening. So, yeah. So Judeo Cooks? No, but I want to approach it for myself. So I don't know how to look. What time am I starting tomorrow? Good question. My sleep schedule might be fucked because of delays. I only got home from Anaheim at 4 in the morning, like today. So like literally 12 hours ago. So my schedule might be a little messed up. I'm gonna aim for 1 p.m., but we will see. I'm gonna try my best for 1 p.m. Oiler from the sky, hear my cry, and gift Jesse 100 subs. Just opened 1,000 packs. Yes. The raw chat for Oiler, that's nice. We haven't had an Oiler in a while. My Eastern is Central. Toronto is Eastern, so it is currently 4:34 p.m. for me. Okay, so I guess the last thing we talked about doing today in stream is new cards were announced. Truthfully, I have already read them. I think all of them. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. But do you guys still want me to review them with you now, or is it kind of too late? Because I haven't been live for a week and a half, right? I did some of this stuff just off stream by myself. Yeah, I'll be Pittsburgh. Yeah? All right, sure. Why not? Feel my temperature rising. Any Elvis fans in chat? It's burning through to my soul. Oh, I haven't seen this yet. I've read these. I read these. I have read this. This didn't have an actual effects, but I read. I have read this already as well. I have not read this. I think it's everything. Yeah, that's everything. I feel my temperature rising. Pump up the volume. Should I turn it down for the discussion? Burning and nothing can cool me. Yeah, I just might turn to smoke, but I feel fine. 'Cause your kisses lift me higher. I'm sorry. Johnny Cash. What are you feeling? Ring of Fire? What's a Ring of Fire on? I add it to the queue. Burning love. Okay. Let's start with the oldest one first. Let me get a water real quick, actually. Refill it. Okay. He and Sinatra are your two favorites. I fucking love Sinatra. He's one of my top artists for sure. MJ is the GOAT though. Different style of music, but I'm biggest MJ stan. I like Johnny Cash too, but don't like love him the way I do other people of the era. All right, Threat Armed Dragon. All right, so it's Armed Dragon level 5 stats. This card's in your graveyard, target one dragon control, destroy it, and if you do special summon this card, so it's not a cost. Destroy a dragon monster you control and revive this card. Okay. Discard one card, tell a monster in the field, 24 less attack, destroy it. Then if you controlled it, ew. There's one dragon in your hand that is 2 original levels higher. That's so neg. There's no way this is good, right? Turns Romulus into rank 7. Oh, so you Ravine sent this, you pop Romulus, revive this. You have to discard 2 cards. So then you pop this and come in level 7 from deck. What level 7 you summon? Nice K9 Dragon Link thing. That is hilarious. I'm sure it's like playable, but it's not. It is pretty fucking neg. Pile armed? Sure. Hit us with Thriller then. Sure, I'll add it to queue. I'm always down for Thriller. Yo. Thriller's already in the queue. Alright, it's 2 songs from now. It was just on the playlist already. Alright. It'll be there soon. I fell into a burning ring of fire. Yeah, not an impressive card. Okay, so this card gained a lot of attention. Forbidding Crown. Neither player can use monster effects to respond to this card's activation. Apply these effects to one face of monster in the field, so it does not target. I don't think I actually noticed that. Which is pretty important. It's effects negated, it cannot attack, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Unaffected by the card effects, activated effects of its own. It cannot be attributed, and it cannot be used for fusion, synchro, or link. So the monster pretty much becomes just like frozen in game, in play. Like completely. The only thing you can do is change battle position, pretty much. I love this song too. So it's interesting because the thing is, in theory, with these type of cards, we're looking for stuff that is usable going first, but very effective when going second. because the ideal way of resolving a card like this, like Droplet, is it means you have utility in going first and second, with usually the more important one being going second. Otherwise, cards like Book of Moon and Eclipse would be better all the time, because those cards are usually great going first, and then depending on the format, they're not always good going second. So I have to wonder how good it'll be going second. The unrespondable negate is nice, but it being stuck there for the turn often means it's hard to kill, which means you have to be ready to cope with follow-up, which in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is huge. It's not always feasible. As well as that monster at the very least will still be there to pose a threat. So if it's like a once per turn negate, it's reset there to be a threat on the next turn, and then the body is also there to work towards. There may be some shit where the card acting as a freeze is like insane to break apart combos that are played during your turn. But for the most part, going second, this card is, I think, honestly, a little underwhelming. Duruma out to the card. Sure, one of the few. You can't Kaiju it, you can't Goddess it. It's a little rough. I think this card going second is not exactly what I envisioned. If there are the right formats where there's like a low attack monster that's always in attack mode, you can use this and kill them through it. That it becomes better. Or when you actually engage in long grind games, and it's reasonable to win on the back of follow-up or rebuilding boards. And then in some decks where it might not matter altogether, and the restrictions or downsides, if you will, are rather small. So this card is not an all-encompassing staple in the way that I think Droplet kind of presents itself. It is definitely less versatile and utility-based than that. It is obviously better value than Droplet, though. Which does make it better in that regard. And I think its freeze effect in terms of no fusion synchronization makes it better going first. So this might be better as a main deck card than Droplet, because it's a little better than going first than Droplet is, but Droplet oftentimes feels a little too weak going first. But it's a little bit worse going second, but not too bad either. This will depend on the deck and on the format, but it will see play quite a bit over the years. So I don't think it's going to be this hugely almighty uber relevant staple in the same way that other new releases have been, like Droplet, Impulse, Fualos, etc. Imagine chain this to Nib to save your boss monster. That's a cool application, but it's really not the biggest deal for it. Freezing IP be nice, can't activate it and becomes a punching bag. Yeah, that one's a good one. Chalice is not too dissimilar, right? Or Tronus or Droplet, which is kind of like what we're looking at. And something evil's lurking in the dark. Happy Halloween, everybody. Or not Halloween, October. Remember, the second that Halloween is over, it's Christmas time. Mariah Carey wakes up from the dredges of hell and spreads her Christmas cheer. You're paralyzed, 'cause this is Thriller. Alright, Mercurium, the Living Quicksilver. Yeah, so rank 10 Aqua that attaches monster to your deck to his material. And while Mercurium has material, your opponent cannot activate any monster effects in their grave. If you monster the same attribute in your graveyard. Mercurium needs to be kept fed with the materials to keep the effect going. As long as you can keep him satisfied, you'll be able to shut down your opponent's key strategies. Wow, I heckin' love more floodgates. So we don't have the full breadth of what this card does, because we don't know if it's generic rank 10. We don't know if it's two materials. We don't know what it attaches from deck, if it's straight up anything or if it's a very specific type of card. How big the maintenance cost is going to be, and then how much, if there's anything else going on with it as well. Because this card has potential to be insane or just terrible. The thing that kind of is alarming to me that I think isn't the immediate thing going in people's head is not the Dweller aspect of it, but the fact that if it is attaches to anything from deck, it acts as a Beatrice-esque card, a Laval Chain Union Carrier, where it provides unlock levels of utility, which I think are incredibly dangerous. So that is something to keep an eye out on, in addition to everything else as well. But obviously, without knowing its full sort of text box, it's hard to evaluate this. I almost wonder if Konami released a vague sort of idea of the card so they could gauge community interest and then modify its power accordingly. So if that is the case, no. Aqua tier, I guess. Intent is very hard to make though. Not always. But also, you need a future-proof card effect. Level 10s will exist in the future. Like, yeah. It looks kind of like the Anubis from the movie. It's like melting with like toxic oil. Dark Aqua. Yes. Uval can make this very easy. Oh, yeah, of course. Thrilling night, girl, I can thrill you more than any ghoul who'd ever dare try. Woo! Sorry. Let me hold you tight and share a together. Tistina support. Okay. Okay, Gramps, go back to the nursing home. Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Creatures crawl in search of blood to terrorize yours neighborhood. I love the song. So ever shall be found without the soul for getting down. Must stand and face the hounds of hell and rot inside a corpse's shell. God, I love Thriller so much. When we go to support this Halloween, don't get your hopes up. Especially because the release schedule means that what's Halloween for us is not Halloween for Japan. The foul, too early. Foulest stench is in the air. The funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tomb are closing in to seal your doom. And though you fight to stay alive, your body starts to shiver, for no mere mortal can resist the evil of the Thriller. Yeah, I've memorized the monologue. I did it for the Duel Night intro. I adapted it to Yu-Gi-Oh! That was fun. We need more Michael Jackson themed Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards. Possibly Master exclusive? Sure. Alright, let's continue on. I'm wasting enough time singing Michael Jackson. Sage King Alfred. So, I do not know enough about DDD to give you guys a exact breakdown on this. What I see here is the triple DDD, which is important. It is easy as shit to make. Dark Fiend for sequence and whatever, if that's a thing. And then you summon a DDD fusion reaction deck by shuffling materials. And then it becomes banished to Dark Contracts and whatever and replace them. The biggest thing for me is this card just lets you summon again. So you build up into bigger fusions. And at the very least provides level 6 to build into Caesar. So the card just seems good. I don't know if it's a key missing piece, but it is insane. Dude, I know I'm like supposed to be tired from the weekend and getting home at 4 in the morning, going to bed at 5. But I've hit like my second wind. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling the music. YMCA. Why couldn't I feel like this during the fucking DC Cup? Instead I'm there. I hate my life. I know. I got a rest weekend here. Anaheim was fun. I feel better. I was dragging myself last week. It was rough. Enemy, thank you so much for the sub. Appreciate you. We'll add another pack to the counter. Oh wait, now this is a 5th pack. All right, 510. So at 560, we add another 10. 51,000 gems tomorrow, guys. 51,000. Can we do more? Can we do better? Oh, Dust and Shuffle from Grave. Oh, you're right. I didn't notice that. It's a bit harder setup. Probably a good card still, though. IMCA. So close to 1,000 packs. We were, in fact, only halfway there. Hopefully we get some more subs over the rest of a little bit of the rest of the stream today and then tomorrow. A Radiant Typhoon. Vow Ruin the Sea Spirit, like a Sea Banshee. Wind Aqua. Tier. All right, 2 Radiant Typhoon monsters. Damn. This card is link summoned. Add a mystical space typhoon from deck or grave at your hand. Oh, okay. Target 2 monsters on the field, including a Typhoon monster you control. Place them in the owner spell and trap zone, but it's not a quick effect. That's not great. I guess can target itself. It can. Okay, that's not bad, I guess. If a quick play spell is activated, you can place 1 Radiant Typhoon continuous trap from your deck or grave face them on your field. I don't remember the continuous traps. Are they good? I don't remember. How are things? I'm chilling. Want to stay at the YMCA. Is MSC a gate trap? I'm sure. I don't remember what it does though exactly. This card is meh. It's fine. Ganesha. Quick play spell. This card is activated. Or this card is destroyed by MST. Set it. Yeah. There's one of these effects. Special 1 on 6 lower Radiant Typhoon from your grave. Or MST from deck grave at your hand. That's very meh. I don't think this deck needs extension like that. Probably a 1-of just to search, but not important. Give me more extension. I don't know if this fills the need of what they had. These cards aren't bad, but I don't think it's enough to push it into mainstream. Also, this is not relevant for Genesis, where I think Radiant Typhoon will probably shine the most, so yeah, I don't know. Non-once per turn negate when you activate OGMST. Alright, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is good. Young man, you wanna be. You heard of Loop's Corsia? Alright. I call the card Crotch. Radiant Typhoon Crotch. I don't know why. Just stuck with me. Alright, next one. Alright, so these are cool. Dragonzel Sharis, which is the combination of Frixel and Malulu. So Dragontail monster plus 1 monster in your hand is the same as Gullimal. And target 2 Dragontail cards in your graveyard and 1 basic card on the field, the same type as either. Moss Spell Trap. Shuffle all 3 into the deck. And the same revive effect. Not a quick effect. This card is utility 1-of for more removal. It lets you recycle the traps now, so in a grind game when you get Astra Belled and they get stuck in your grave, you can return them. But for the most part, this card is not brilliant. It's not going to fill a huge niche in the deck. The only other thing this card can do is level 6 dragon, so you can kind of work towards Atom for dragons. If you like want to do that, but yeah. YMC's a tune. Now this song is a fucking tune. I fucking love this song too. Those pretty faces always made you stand out in a crowd. And someone picked you from the bunch. 1 glance was all it took. I love this song so much. Trick still missing the Frixel art spell. Oh, are we still missing a card? Jesus. Hopefully it's better. More extension. This is Urg plus Attune, 3 Secretarion. I think it's probably too complicated, but yeah. This is the kind of card I was talking about. K9X Ripper Millennia. So 2 level 9, small as you rank up into it. So my K9 spell or trap, you can target up to 2 cards opponent's grave or banishment and put them in the deck. Not a broken effect, but is still important and can be useful. Does piercing. When your opponent uses a monster effect, attach 2 materials, negate the effect, and destroy all cards in the field, including itself. Yeah, it's like negate board wipe. That I don't know. This feels too strong because you just get to do so much, and it's hard to force this out. It's not like crazy unfair. Not impossible to force out, but it's still frustrating. That's a very good card. And then assist Yummy. So continuous trap. Remember, Marshmallow can place it from the deck. During your standby phase, gain 100 life, and your opponent pays 100. So you're stealing money from them pretty much. Because the paying 100 is supposed to symbolize like the 100 yen coins into the slot machines. All the dragons get traps and all the spellcasters have spells. Oh, that makes sense. I didn't realize it. During the main phase of your opponent's battle phase, you can send 2 face-up yummy cards to the control of the grave, including this card. This includes spells too. Choose 1 card from the field or graveyard to the hand. Banish this card from your grave, send yummy from your deck to the grave, except assist. I think this card is low-key not that bad. People are saying garbage, but like, you place it off Marshmallow and more pure decks, and it's a disruption, right? Because it bounces anything. And then you also get to, like, you can bounce their cards, obviously disruption, but you can also bounce your own cards. So, and it's any card. So you can bounce a D barrier from your graveyard, which is cancer, but you get to loop barrier, which is like, what? You can loop other stuff too, loop follow-up, disruption. And this card's not bad. And people are hating on it. Favorite MJ song? It might be this one. This one is a banger. I think this card's not as bad as people think it is, but it's probably not crazy either, and it might not be worth running. Depends on the format. Alright, I have not read this last card. Alright, if this card's in your hand, a grave. Destroy 1 on the rock monster in your hand or face the field and special summon this card. But banish it when it leaves the field. When an earth monster on the field activates effect, you contribute this card and then turn off his monster in the field and change it face down. And it's an earth. Not Omega Plus, so it's barely a Magna Warrior. I guess it synergizes Magna Warriors in the way that like they tribute themselves in the opponent's turn. I mean, it's the extender, it's a graveyard effect for Earth or what effect. It's fine. This card is dog ass. No, it's like not unplayable. It's not a good extender or graveyard effect. It's not terrible either. And it gives you stuff to get off of the Magna Warriors. I don't think this is that bad. It's not brilliant though either. Alright. Yeah, nothing crazy though. Not going to make Magnet Warriors playable. Not even close. Or Emancipators. I think that's everything. I just can't control my feet. Alright guys, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for coming back and catching up on the stream. Talking with the Duelist Cup, Anaheim, Josh's video, the new pack, and had a good time. Hope you guys did too. We're back tomorrow with another big stream. Tomorrow's stream is going to be a whale stream and new pack stream with new stuff. So make sure to tune in for that, as well as when you guys saw we're gonna open more packs, like thank you Rabsco Dojan did right now. So please, any support is appreciated, even if not for that, just for the help I gave you with deck profiles and my opinions and the content, because it goes a long way. But yes, tomorrow whaling stream at first, and then we'll move on to a duel room afterwards. We'll host the duel room. And the person who has the best record, the most, the highest win ratio, will be getting a $20 Steam gift card, as well as the person who I deem to have the coolest deck. So make sure you're there tomorrow for both those things. Should be fun. And have a good one, guys. Blame it on a boogie. Oh! Yeah. Good times. You just gotta. Yeah. Oh. Nobody's fault but yours and that boogie all night long. Can't stop that boogie. Ain't nobody's fault. Ain't nobody's fault.